Excited? Hi everyone, so welcome to our show. We're using our older computer, so we don't have the best screen on here, but I don't know, I'm not that good looking anyhow, so it don't matter, right? Sharon is.
Works good when it's not a good picture.
And Sharon's shy, so. All right, well, I was like to welcome everyone to the show, and the title of the show, we've got some exciting news for our fans. So Sharon and her daughter have been working really hard to build a new merch site. The reason is what you guys wanted, the truckers' caps, and actually you've got one around here, huh? I guess it's in the shop. So if you just click over to the link there that we put on there, you can check out all the stuff that we got on the thing. We got coffee cups and a whole bunch of other shit. So this winter we've been down in America. We've been going down the States in the winter time, but as some of you may know, the border's closed, so Canadians can't drive across the U.S. border. So, we can fly across there. It doesn't really make any sense to us, but we can't get our side-by-side and all our stuff there. So we're not going to make her down to Arizona this year, with the COVID thing. So, all right. Hi from Oklahoma. Hi, how are you guys doing? I don't know. The COVID thing has kind of affected our lives in Canada. Hasn't been any cases in our town, so it's not really too big of a deal, but pretty devastating for some other communities. Definitely making it a lot harder to move around and do things like we usually did. But I guess we'll all survive it. Hi from Peachland. Hello, Ron. How's it going? Northern California. So we got a lot of videos that we shot when we were up north in northern Canada. So we got maybe one more to do, and then we got a lot more stuff that we haven't aired yet. And actually, we found an old show from 2 years ago that for some reason never got aired. And then Sharon and I have been doing a bunch of other cool stuff. So we'll have a show every Friday. And then I also got stuff from Gly when we spent quite a bit of time in Arizona last year. So we shot a bunch of stuff with Gly. We never got through the editing, so you'll see that too. So we'll keep scraping up the barrel. And we've got some cool stuff around here we're going to get up to in the wintertime with this sled also.
Somebody says, do you have enough subscribers? We could do a real
good tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, getting down there is not such a problem. We could sneak across the border. No, we can't. A month in ice as it is. But yeah, the problem is you can't get our vehicle down there. So really, for us to do good shows, you're going to be able to travel around and use our side-by-side. I mean, to fly down there, rent the vehicle, and stay in hotels, it's not anywhere near mine. It just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us and stuff. And if you guys got any questions or anything like that, and hope you're enjoying the Christmas season. Sharon's a big Christmas fan, me not so much.
You're getting there.
Oh, and the other thing is cool.
We cut down a tree.
Yeah, we got a Christmas tree, right?
Cut it down.
Where's it?
He loves Christmas.
Stole it out of the forest. The people's forest, we call it here. Well, hope nobody's watching this. Do we need a permit for that? No, we don't need to do that. I never bought a Christmas tree in my life. All right, please, everyone, hit the like button. Yeah, thanks. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are having a good one, and it's definitely been an interesting year this year. So, also the other news is kind of cool. So we bought a new truck. Mm-hmm. So the 1 ton that I have that you guys see on the show, it's a 2005 3500 1-ton Dodge that we use. I bought it brand new and had it for 15 years. Got 300,000 kilometers on it now. So we've just purchased a brand new Dodge 5500, which is a fair bit bigger truck. We'll be able to maybe get a bigger side-by-side, haul a lot more gear. And so we're using it. We've got a bigger trailer you guys haven't seen much of that I bought off of Sharon. She had a really nice trailer. So we got rid of our old one. So upgrading in the company department, the entertainment department, the truck department, everything's going good. So, yeah. All right, so we'll just give you, if you guys, we can give you this link for this site. And you guys are asking, for quite a long time to get hats and mugs and all that kind of stuff. So Sharon and her daughter have been working on all this kind of stuff. So we got all that kind of stuff. You guys interested in that kind of thing? Frank, if you need a moderator, I can help you. We're not getting too many nasty comments that I see. We can give you permission to do that if you like. How do we do that? We do it real quick here. Add moderator. Okay, so you're a moderator now. So if someone insults me or Sharon, you can just bleep the comment out because we don't have time to do that. I mean, I don't mind being insulted a little, but there's a limit, right? I got a good sense of humor, but it's not endless. All right. Oh, I remember you mentioned there's going to be a TV show on the Works with History channel. Any news on that? Yeah, there is. So I'll tell you about that. The show is called Backroads Truckers. If you look at our Facebook, there's a link to it. You can see the thing. So the show, Sharon's not in it. She's seen part of the taping of it. So this show is a bunch of guys that are based in BC and stuff that go out and deliver stuff to backcountry businesses and whatnot, and a bunch of crazy guys that got some souped up trucks that haul stuff to the backcountry and get stuck and all that kind of stuff. In one of the episodes, the guy and his daughter that are on the show, I take them underground. So we go underground into Phoenix, and we grab this ore cart from my museum. And we pull it up out of the mine and restore it. It's in the museum. So we're going to have an year-end special probably on the 22nd or something like that. And so we've got lots of real cool stuff in the museum we're going to show you. First of all, we've got a concentrator. No, not a concentrator. A converter. So it's a thing out of the smelter. We had a huge smelter here. So we got that. It's really cool. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show it to you. We're building an aerial tramway. So we got buckets for a tramway. We're going to have a working tramway. And in the last year and stuff, we got a whole bunch of operating stuff in the mine, in the mill, museum. So we have an air gun. We've got our mucker operating. Saws and stuff like that. So we got a whole bunch of working stuff. We can show you that kind of stuff too. So you guys might not have seen all that. So we got this new Dodge pickup, or not a pickup, a flat deck. So we had a flat deck custom built for it. It's got 11-foot deck on it, 6.7 liter Cummins in it, lots of power. So it'll be pretty cool upgrade. And probably the coolest thing is, like, I don't have much patience for directions and whatnot. It's got a 12-inch nav screen. So like it's like a, I don't even have a smartphone, right? So, you get directions on that thing. You're looking at this stupid little screen while you're trying to drive. This thing's got a 12-inch screen that's right in the dash. And I tell them, hey, Bertha, or whatever her name is, or Siri, or whatever, I want to go to the donut shop, whatever. It tells exactly where it is. You can watch it in lifetime. Great for stupid people like me. So I'm going to really enjoy that. All right. So I'm sorry if I didn't. Okay. So the show's called Backroads Truckers. It'll be out in early in the new year sometime. If you Google it, you can see a little preview of it or something. I think it'll be a pretty cool show. Anyhow, so it's just a way that we're getting in front, and these guys are pitching some other stuff that we can't talk about too much on for history and all that. So this is the way I kind of got in my foot in the door. It was really cool. So I got paid. We got like a week to film this one episode. They did a really good job on it. And of course, we got to keep this real cool ore cart. Then we'll show you that. So a fully restored ore cart from about 120-year-old ore cart. It's really cool too. So. We spared no expense in rebuilding this thing as it was originally. So, all right. Hey, Frank, thanks for showing me the museum. Clint, hi, Clint, a few weeks ago. So, yeah. And the other thing is our museum, it's not a private museum. It's open to the general public. All you have to do is, we're here. I'm free. I'll give you a tour for free. I'm not going to charge anything. There's a donation box. I don't care if you don't put any money in it. I'm interested in the history. And, a lot of people say, oh, what happens when you're dead? It'll all be sold off to auction. Actually, what we're planning on doing is making a nonprofit society of this and leaving the museum and all the stuff to the nonprofit society. So we're kind of really interested in that. Something we're really passionate about is saving a bunch of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is just going into the garbage dump. We've seen it over and over again. The mining companies come in, level all the buildings, haul all the steel off, and everything's gone. We've saved a lot of stuff that would have been gone. I know some of you guys that enjoy going to the backcountry or pissed off because I'm taking this stuff out of here. It's pretty selfish of you to have that attitude, to leave that stuff to rust and deteriorate just so you can see it personally. I'm looking at the bigger picture for a lot more people are going to see this stuff in this museum, and it'll be preserved inside a 4,000 square foot building for future generations. So, whatever. That's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, join us for the last show of the year, and we'll show you all the stuff that we have in the museum that we're working on and this operating stuff. And the other thing is, most museums, you just go through there and there's some college students reading a book or something, and people walk through it on themselves. The visitors to my museum, I go through that and I show them all the stuff, explain how it all worked, and answer all the questions. So it's a much better experience than just a regular museum. I know a lot about this stuff, and I'm keen to share it and passionate about it. So Love what you're doing, you guys, for for saving history. And we were at the Greenwood Smelter. I took Sharon there. She took some pictures. And the Greenwood Smelter's got a big stack that's 115 feet tall. It's awesome. There's all kinds of cool stonework left in there. The original flue is there, the chimneys and all that kind of stuff's there. And it actually is a park. It belongs to the city, but they just have it chained off. There's trees growing on it, and no one goes through it. It's such a bloody shame. I mean, I could spend a day with the cat. We can make the coolest trails going through there. Tourists can come from everywhere and see this stuff. And, they don't give a shit about history around here. It's a crime. It's sad. But hopefully it'll change, in America, I'd say, in America, it's way better. There's so much cool stuff for people to see, and businesses that, like Vulture City and what was the other one? Vulture and Robson Mining Road, place like that, where private individuals have spent their money getting all this stuff, restoring it, and it's there for the public to see it. And hats off. And I wish we could be doing that more in Canada, but we don't. It's kind of embarrassing. We got so much cool stuff to see here, and nobody's doing it. So, but I'm trying to do my part to try to rectify that a little bit. All right. So I'm sorry if I haven't read all these comments. I'm on this rant. So I am. I like talk a lot. So if you guys have any questions, you want to say anything, we can. I'll just sit down and have a couple drinks of my beer. We'll answer some questions.
Somebody asked if you ever rappel off cliffs.
No, not very much. Very little. Basically, all kind of underground stuff. And the big difference on the climbing rigging is, in the cliffs and stuff, there's not that much of a hazard of something falling on you. But when you're in mine shafts, you have a lot more loose rocks. It's a small space, and you have lots of wooden timbers and structures and stuff like that. So it's more dangerous that for the rope to dislodge something, have it fall maybe hundreds of feet on your head and kill you. So, so that's why we have the rigging that we have with the Petzl rig, and it's designed. It's a safety system. So if something fell on you and knocked you out, and you would let go of all your rope and stuff, you're hanging there. So it's an auto lock device. So it's very important. They don't use that in kind of recreational climbing and stuff but it's a different application. So.
I'm just they're saying, what are you sipping on?
Oh, okay. She's got Smirnoff, and I've had this stuff.
On.
So the extra old stock that I usually drink, we can't get it anymore because of COVID. There's a shortage of cans. Whatever happened to the Levi's? Okay, well, on that show, what happened was there was a guy that owns a museum and has got a bunch of stuff restored, and lots of people go up there at Castle Dome. And he had all these cool mines, and we talked to him, and we seen the mines on his site, and I said, is there any cool mines that we go there and explore? He says, oh yeah, we've got some of the oldest patented silver mines in all Arizona, and there's mines that nobody's been into since the 1800s. And he said, yeah, you can come and explore them. You need ropes. It's real tough to get into, et cetera, et cetera. So we showed up with our climbing stuff, and Sharon was there, Gabe was there, different times, and he had this museum with all this artifacts and stuff, and he has all these buildings, built a ghost town, a whole bunch of other stuff. It's pretty interesting. And so I told him, I said, anything we find, we'll give you. We're not going to take anything off the site. It's all your stuff. It's patented land. He owns the land and the mines, everything. Everything we find, we'll give you. And he didn't ask for that, but we said we were going to do that. So that was a contract that we had, not knowing we're going to find all that cool stuff. And then we found them, and in good faith, I didn't take anything. I gave that to him. That was the deal we made, and I'm not complaining about it. I don't know. The guy's a little strange. I mean, he didn't even say thanks or nothing. But whatever. That's up to him. That's he fulfilled. We did our end of the bargain, and he did with his. At the end of the day, we had a really cool adventure. We got some really cool video and all that, and we didn't get nothing out of it. But really, my whole life, my motivation isn't about making money. So that's kind of all I'm going to say about that.
How long will your tram line be?
It will not be very long. It'll be. It's going to be in our yard. So the problem is you need a fair drop. So we're going to build like a big station on the top part, and then it'll go down as a gravity tram to the lowest part of our yard. The tram line will be. I don't know, it's 200-300 feet, not very long at all. Just there's going to be a main station that you can climb up with a ladder, and then the bull wheel and the brakes will be there, and then it'll be a receiving station. It'll be an operational tram line. So a person could get in. There's going to be two tram cars. It's going to be a very simple tram car. So there's going to be two tram cars, one at the top and one at the bottom. So The one at the top here, you fill it full of ore, or a person gets in it, and the weight of it will go down to the bottom and bring the empty one to the top. And you control that with the brakes on the top. And that's it. There won't be power. It's just, and that's the way the most basic tram line was. So it'll be fully operational. Be able to see how it works. So that's it's a very simple two-line system. We have the cable and we have the tram cars. So we're gonna get all the wood sawed up. And the other thing that's really cool that we have a whole bunch of square nuts and bolts, hundreds and hundreds of them that we have. So we'll be able to use those in the construction of it, and they're pretty cool too. So, okay, is there any special day that you'd rather people come visit the museum? We live here. We're here all the time. It's right next door. We're in there doing work all the time. Best thing to do is you just give me a phone call. I got my number in different places or Facebook or whatever. I can give you the number if you like. Actually, just Google it, Exploring Abandoned Mines Museum, and then give me a call and then I'm here. So, I mean, we have a life where exploring mines and doing different things, we're not always here. So there isn't that many people that come to visit the museum. There's been more this year than we've ever had in the 5 years that I've been here. But probably on average, I don't know, 1 or 2 people a week at the very most. So, we can't have, we're not going to sit around and keep building heated all the time in case somebody shows up at some point. People around here are not very interested in it. Most of the people that come here are from out of town. They're more interested in this kind of thing. But yeah. So anyhow, So the best thing, just I don't care. Don't phone me. People do that. They'll phone me now and they'll say, "I'd like to come. What are you doing on the 4th of February?" And I say, "What?" I say, "I don't even know what I'm doing the day after tomorrow. I can't make plans for the 4th of February." So typically what like I don't have a calendar and. You just phone me up and say, what are you doing the day after tomorrow? I can probably answer that question.
How long was your drive to Dawson?
To Dawson, we went in a whole bunch of stages. We went to Stewart and a whole bunch of places up there. So 2 weeks, I think. I don't know. Straight driving, you might be able to do it in maybe 2 days if you wanted to drive.
Yeah, that'd be
probably
long.
24 hours of driving at least. Somewhere, probably 3 days would be more reasonable. But I'd say it's a pretty long drive, yeah. Did I say that one time the neighbors weren't too hot at the museum? There's never been any objections to having the museum or anything. What I probably said is people not that interested in it. I don't see a whole bunch of people from Grand Forks coming and visiting the museum. So there's not a lot of local interest, but it's not a large town either, so.
They're going by too fast.
All right. Don't ask me when I change my underwear either. I don't even have underwear, so that's too personal.
Love the videos. Have become an armchair quarterback for the other mine shows with the information you have provided. I feel like I've learned quite a bit about mines. Thanks for the education.
Yeah, so Glye, who's got the channel Abandoned or Forgotten Places, I met him when he had no subscribers, and kind of give him a bit of a hand, and we did some exploring together. Kind of a cool guy. He enjoys doing. He's very good on the production side and stuff and that, and his style's a little different than me, but we're good friends, and I'm kind of a little jealous of his success actually, but that's my problem, I guess. I mean, he's got 100. So a year ago when I first started doing stuff, he didn't have 1,000 subscribers, and he's got almost 100,000 in 1 year. It took me 5 years to do that. So he's doing something right. So kudos to can't hats off to him, But his style's a little different than mine. But I got nothing bad to say about him. He's a good guy, and I enjoy talking to him. And we'll probably do some more exploring. And he's got some other interesting things he wants to do in the future. So yeah, hats off to them. It's a free country. Everyone's got a little different style, and if you enjoy that style more than others, then you go, watch whatever you enjoy watching.
Are you going back to Antioch's?
Interesting story. So we got this converter from Pacific Abrasives. That there was a big smelter in Grand Forks, and it was the same company, the Granby company, that went to Antioch's. So they closed operations here, moved the rolling stock up there, and went there. So the company that's mining the abrasives today is the same company here as it is there. So we went to Antioch, so we're going to be good friends with Lyle and Linda that operate it for Pacific Abrasives. So, but Lyle's retiring. He's getting kind of old, and he's been there for 8 years, so he's retiring. So the buddy that I went up there with, Kevin, he is probably going to get the job of operating Antioch's up there. So I might actually be doing some work for him and helping him out and getting back up there. Really interesting, actually, a connection to Antioch also, because this converter that we have that makes what it does is the copper comes out of the furnace and it's poured into molds. It's a product called matte copper. It's 80% copper and the rest is impurities. It is there further refined by going into a converter, which is just a big tub that has air blowing up through the back, and it blows bubbles up there, makes foam, and it blows the rest of the slag out of there. Then it pours it into molds, 400-pound molds, and it makes something called blister copper, which is 99.3% pure, and that's called a converter. So that's what we got. So when we were at Antioch, we found the molds that they pour the blister copper into, and they gave us some molds, but we can't get them out because of the trucking and stuff, but they're there. So, but when Kevin's there and we can arrange it, because there's no roads in Antioch, it's 60 miles from the nearest road, there's only freighters and helicopters going in there, we're going to get that mold sooner or later, especially with Kevin being there. So we'll probably be there working in Antioch, maybe in the future. Me and Sharon go up there and do some more stuff up there. It's just a wonderful place. I wouldn't want to live there though. It just it's like the rainforest is pouring rain there. Just a miserable climate, but beautiful historic place. All right, sorry if I missed some of this kind of stuff. I've just been talking to you guys, and if I didn't answer something, which I didn't, probably, just feel free to post it again. Suggested Goliath's channel, never having watched the topic. I watched all his videos, then I saw you, and then I watched most of yours so far. We're kind of noticing also, we look at our older videos, and I think, well, the production and everything's just gotten a lot better. So, I don't know. Just, I guess as you evolve, you learn more about history and production and kind of stuff. And we have other cameras, and Sharon and I throw a lot of different ideas about different things. And in the future, it's going to be better than it is today. So, hello from Montreal. I was born in Montreal, in Laval, actually. Jesus XD. You still always will remain my number one cave mining explorer on YouTube. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support. Have you reached out to Brent at Cerro Gordo in California? I've heard that a whole bunch of times, and we've never even seen any of his stuff. So the problem is, obviously, we can't get into the States until next year. So we'll do that. We'll have a look at some of that kind of stuff, and but like I say, we can't go down there, so it doesn't really matter at this point. So.
Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything. I do too.
Oh yeah, in case guys don't know, probably most guys know. It's like a hot sauce that you buy or something. It's called Frank's Red Hot. Sharon keeps telling me I'm red hot too. She thinks I am. Of course. All right, so again, I guess the quality of this picture's not all that good, but probably makes me look better being a little fuzzy anyhow. So. My beard, it might look a little gray, but that's I have no gray whatsoever. It's just, it's the screen makes it look that way. All right. So, Spidey Cat, you and Gly are my only mine explorers that I watch and subscribe to. Yeah. So, you're a different style. I enjoy both. Well, if you're drinking beer, I guess I better grab one too. Kokanee. Yeah, that Kokanee's not bad. This got, this is better for doing these live broadcasts because it's got 8% alcohol, so a lot less run to the bathroom for the amount of alcohol you're consuming.
It says, you've gotten so good with your drone footage, it adds a lot. I particularly like when you feature old artifacts during your exploration. Thanks for the good work. Okay,
thanks, Greg. Yeah, we try to do a lot of different kinds of stuff because, it'd be pretty boring just walking down mine shafts, the same thing all the time. So we try to bring new aspects and stuff to it. What happened to the power parachute? It's still sitting in the shop. We didn't get to fly it much because we were up north. We're having some technical problems with it, so we got to kind of get it fixed. But we'll be doing more flying with it. Something else is coming up. So there's a show we're taping. It's called The Kingsman. The Kingsman. We're going to tape it on Monday, and it's a panel of a bunch of mining so-called experts. From all Australia, the States, and Canada, and I'm on this show. There's a bunch of panelists. We're doing this Christmas special. So we're going to tape it, and if we like it, we're going to put it on the show so you can watch it. So they're going to tape it on Monday. they're going to do a bunch of production, edit it, and all that, and it's going to be released. So, well, if we like it, we think it's something interesting, you guys want to watch, we'll post it. So it's not going to be the regular thing, but it's called Crownsman or Kingsman or something like that. So you'll watch for it. You must be subscribed to the show, or you wouldn't be watching this. You'll get a notification on this. So it sounds like kind of fun. Anyways. Heather Topping, hi, Sharon and Frank. It's supposed to be Frank and Sharon, right?
Yeah.
Really enjoy the videos, especially the mine explorers. We look forward to the new explorers. When COVID is gone, stay safe. COVID's not really the only thing it's doing is keeping us from going down south. It's not really. Please, no singing. Who, me or her? No, it can't be me. You don't like Sharon singing? She doesn't sing that much.
You sing nice Christmas music.
Frank and hot dogs are the same things and for the same reasons. Actually, I like that quote by Mark Twain. He said, babies and politicians should be changed often and pretty much for the same reason. I don't know why I thought of that. Are you ever going to explore the Canadian diamond mines? Well, no, because first of all, they're not going to let us within 100 miles of there. You got to get up there on the winter ice road. You can't even get up there. And it's just an open pit, so there's nothing really interesting about that either. You guys are hilarious. Thanks, but she's not actually a guy.
That's okay. Boring walking down mine shafts. No, Frank, it's a panic a minute just watching. Never a boring moment.
Well, it depends on
I agree.
You don't want to walk down a shaft typically because the shaft is straight up and down, right? So, but if you're just walking along at it, it's just a round hole and there's nothing going on. It's just a straight walk. There's nothing, and I don't have anything funny to say, which isn't that often. But if there's nothing going on, I'm gonna delete that out and not have it. So.
Any major locations planned for 2021?
What's the most interesting you ever found in your beard?
Yes.
Oh, I don't really see anything in my beard. Sharon's seen a lot of stuff in my beard, but my eyes are. Mark Twain is actually from my home state. Yeah, and the other great mining. I guess he must have got hoodwinked by some miners or something one time. So one of his favorite sayings that I love is he said, "A mine is nothing more than a hole in the ground owned by a liar." I always thought that was pretty funny.
Somebody says the Yukon series was good. I prefer the variety over strictly being inside mines, so that's cool.
Yeah, no, we found it interesting too.
A Christmas Carol stream, so you could sing.
Strange, They must have been smoking some of that legal weed if they want to hear us.
Your microwave is beeping. I know.
Oh yeah.
I can get up and
so Sharon saw the other thing she does. She cooks sourdough bread, so she's multi-talented, excellent cook. So she's doing something with a sourdough. I don't know if it's in the microwave or not.
It's not in the microwave. My tea was in the microwave.
I like Sharon's pictures. They're great. Yeah, so it's just another ploy to get you guys to watch our whole video, so we put the awesome pictures at the end. Well, of course, I could fast forward, start watching the intro, and then... Yeah, no, that's what we decided to do. I'm having a hard time letting go of control. Originally, I said Sharon could pick, some pictures at the end, but I'm kind of a bit of a Nazi. No, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're gonna probably feature, a dozen pictures or something, or somewhere around there. Sharon's maybe gonna be able to pick some of them, but. Hey Frank, not far from my cabin is abandoned mine and old carts. How do I find out if we can haul one home? The mines are all being filled in. Oh, the best thing to do with all just take it. Never ask. It's always a mistake to take stuff, or not to take stuff, to ask, because then they say no. Then you're in trouble if you don't. Just take it. And then like say we got this old debate about taking stuff and all that. There's all kinds of stuff the other thing I do for my museum, I'm on eBay all the time and I look for cool mine collectibles and I got all kinds of cool stuff I took out of there. So this is all from stuff that people got out of mines years ago, and so I pay them something for it. So I'm paying them for their laborers for finding and bringing it. I don't mind that. So I think it's a good thing. Better than just leaving it there. I haven't got a problem with that at all.
What's the oldest mine you've been in?
There are some really old mines in Mexico up at Zacatecas, probably about 500 years old. They're not that impressive because they weren't using explosives, a little bit of black powder, and it was all hand steeled and stuff. So, so you're not going to see, well, that's one thing about Mexico. You don't see any artifacts. Of all the mines we went to Mexico, the only thing that I ever found was an old frying pan. When we went down that 500-foot shaft, or not when we sent Gabe down there was some explosives down there, some stuff down there, but typically in Mexico, you never see anything. And the same with in America, it's very rare to really see anything in a mine because just so many people. For the casual mine where you can just walk in and out of it, there'll be nothing in it because there's been so many people in there. There's way more people, that are a larger population that are interested in that kind of stuff. Probably when you get into when you can start rappelling into steep places, well, people don't go into there, so you're going to see more interesting stuff. And probably if you get into Nevada or something, you get in the back country where people just haven't been. But in Arizona, we haven't really seen hardly anything at all. So very, very rare. So.
Craig from Caslow says hi.
Oh, hey, Craig, how you doing?
Snowing there and wonders if it's snowing here, and it is.
Yeah, we got a little bit of snow. We were up the Greenwood, and Craig, we're gonna have that. So we got 2 videos they did with Craig. One from 2 years ago that I forgot about. So look for them in the new year sometime. So it was a pretty cool video. We went up there and got that. I guess I told you we got that old ore bucket out of that old shack. There wasn't much left of it, but we did get that old. Ore bucket out of that shack.
There's a beer for you, 19%.
19%.
Kind hexery or something.
Well, that's probably like a half whiskey or something. Huh? Yeah, that's strong beer. Yeah, but like even this stuff, at 8%, it's a little. I can imagine at 19% would be fairly bitter, huh? But in Colorado, we have lots of mines. If you considered once things opened up, going to Colorado, oh, definitely. So. Colorado and Montana stuff, and we got lots of mines that we can go to. So, well, Robert, you haven't been too busy. I haven't seen you delete anything, but people have been nice. So, that's a kind of a funny thing is people are really kind to us in our comments and stuff. You hear 100 comments, and for some reason, if somebody says something nasty, it sticks in your craw. I don't know why it should. I mean, think of the President of the United States, for instance, right? So. So he is elected with maybe 50%. So half people hate him, right? And we got like a 99% approval rating. Like most of our videos, it's, I don't know, 98, 99, something like that. And, I'm insulted because somebody said something. Crazy. I should be grateful for the 99. That's just human nature, I guess. You always hear the bad comments and you kind of forget about the good things. I don't know. New drinking game. Every time Frank says "mine," take a drink. I should get sponsored by the mine police or the brewery companies if I'm going to start doing that. And that's another thing that really kind of pisses me off. Like, we got all these sponsors. They always want to send me flashlights, and I'll tell you guys, there's a company that sent me a flashlight. And I thought it was kind of cool flashlight. We tried it out, and the batteries are dead all the time. And I said, "What the hell's wrong with this battery?" She says, "Oh, well, it's designed like that. You have to charge it up and leave it unplugged. And if you plug it in," and I says, "Oh, that's bullshit. I mean, someone's going to take that in the mine. They're not going to have a light. I'm not having it on my channel." And then so people are sending me all this. They send me a bunch of crappy stuff, and I'm not gonna. So. Where were I going with this? Okay. I don't know why. People can't keep sending these flashlights. I'm not taking it anymore. I mean, we got good flashlights. Those Fenix lights are excellent lights. They don't even have to pay me for them. How come they don't send me beer? I mean, why do we get these crappy flashlights that I'm not interested in featuring on my show anyhow? And, beer is something I really want to feature on my show. And I haven't seen a case of beer or nothing so far. This really pisses me off. What's wrong with these sponsors?
Maybe we could start making beer and put our label on it and sell it. Somebody said, "How's your pet rat?"
How's your pet rat?
Wow.
And you guys think, "Oh, the rats are cute," and they are on video. You don't know much about rats, and a lot of people say that, "Oh, they're not rats, they're chinchillas or whatever." No, they're pack rats. And I lived in the bush when I was younger, and I had a cabin in the bush. And they're native rats here. They live in the bush. They're nocturnal. They usually in abandoned cabins and underground caves, mines and stuff. And they come out at night. They're stinky like you would not believe. And they're nasty and vicious too. I know there's the bat people who went in there. They live trapped some rats for some kind of experiment. And the girl there, she said, she went to grab the rat to pull it out of the cage to save it or something like that, and it bit right through her leather glove, screwed her finger up. Like, they're nasty. They stink. And if you have them around your camp or your place, they'll chew up everything. They piss over everything. They chew up everything. They're a nasty piece of work. Sharon don't like them, and I don't like them for a good reason. I'm not quite as, I don't mind kicking them, but but whatever. There's nothing good about them rats. They might look cute, but they ain't cute.
Can we see how the museum is going in an update? And
you
yes,
can.
We're going to.
So that is what we're going to have a year-end special at the museum. We're going to go through and show you a bunch of cool stuff on get Frank a stuffed rat for the museum. That would be awesome. I would like a stuffed rat. Yeah.
If you make beer as great as your videos, I'd buy it.
Well, man's only got so many talents, right? No, Sharon would make a lot better beer than me. You got to be pretty fussy and clean about everything. It's got to be Sharon would be a good brewmaster, but I think I drink enough beer. I probably don't need to be encouraged me by having more cheaper beer.
You could be the taster, I guess.
All right, so, sir, you turned your mother-in-law loose up there, huh? All right, what bad air sensor do you use? So we had the what the hell did I have before? I had a Honeywell BW sensor, but it's just an oxygen sensor. And I tell you guys that, and the reason why I say my videos are not meant to be instructional, where I live, in the mines that I go into, there's certain hazards or whatever, and that's all I would need for the mines around here. But if you were in different kind of mines that had different types of methane gas or CO2 or different things, which you don't have here, you would need a different type of sensor. So for you to watch my video and say, Frank does that and that's safe, well, that's not necessarily the case. So I hate to give people advice for that reason, because it's very specific to what situation and what circumstance you're in. Having said that, so I have that, and I just bought a new sensor, which is a 4-gas sensor. But the problem with that is it's rechargeable, so and you got to turn it on and off. So the BW sensor, you turn it on, you get it, and it stays on for 2 years. You don't have to do nothing. You just stick it on your coat and there, and it works, and it does that in the background, and it works really well. The new sensor, you got to turn it on. It only lasts for, 6 or 8 hours or something. And I go into mine and I forget to turn it off. So every time I go to use it, it's dead. So then I don't have a sensor. So, but the 4-gas sensor is the best one to get. You don't necessarily need it. It depends on what the circumstances you're in. So,
have you ever considered selling artifacts on eBay? And somebody else had said maybe it was the same person like Guy does.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We would lose all credibility for doing that. The reason we take artifacts, and most artifacts we leave in mines, we kind of take one of each, is to preserve them and to show you guys and teach future generations about all this kind of stuff. We're absolutely not in this for the money. We would never sell anything. I've never sold anything. It's just I don't have a problem with other people that do, but I don't. No, I would not do that. If you want side panels from explosive ops, go on eBay. There's all kinds of them there. There's full boxes, side panels, all that kind of stuff's on eBay. You can buy it there. You're my favorite mine channel, then Goliath, and 3 others. I've watched every video on all 5 channels. I'm all out of videos. Get in the crowd.
Every Friday.
Yeah, we got I think 234 videos. So that's, they're typically about a half hour each. So, that's 115. No, how's my math? 115 hours of video, something like that. Yeah.
You have 200 and...
I haven't even watched all my videos. I typically when I watch them much times I'm editing them. And one of these days I said, well, we brought them along while we're camping so we get bored and watch our own videos. We haven't been that bored. And I don't watch a lot of other stuff on YouTube either. I know people always send me links and stuff. I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube. Just actually managing the channel and doing all the editing and all that kind of stuff. It takes up probably as much time as I want to spend on the internet. I'm not really a big internet guy. Sharing things, I love Facebook a lot, but we tried to put some pictures on it, and it's kind of an emotional thing. Yeah, I'd rather be out exploring the mine than surfing the net. if I can do that.
Me too.
The law for the Venus mine and no taking old equipment is a damn shame. And we run into so we went up to the Venus mine and we didn't know about this law. So there's a law in the Yukon, you're not allowed to take anything older than 45 years. We didn't know that. So anywhere in BC, you can take anything, the Antiquities Act in BC is anything before 1845. So anything that mines you, if there's something abandoned in the bush, it doesn't belong to anyone. You can take it home and do whatever you want. Nobody cares. In the Yukon, there's a law that you're not allowed to take anything older than 45 years old, which we didn't know. And there's no signs and there's no literature that tells you anything like that. So we're at this mine in we figured it was a pretty isolated area, and we hiked up there and it was way above this lake, and we thought the tram stuff in there looked like we're building this tram, but it's a really small tram because it's a short tram. This would be ideal to use in the tram we're going to do. So we took it out of there, not realizing, that, well, first of all, the mill is a historic site, which is kind of bullshit because it's all falling apart. They haven't done nothing to manage or anything like that. But there's the trail that goes up there, and it's kind of a backwoods trail. It's not marked or anything like that. I guess it must be on a whole bunch of hiking guides or a whole bunch of other stuff that we never seen. There's no signs, not marked or anything like that. But there's a fair bit of people that actually go up there, which we didn't even know that anyone would ever see up there would even care if we took it out of there. So, so that caused some controversy, that we kind of talked about. So they posted it on Facebook. There's people that threatened to kill me and to stuff me down in my shot and a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know. So the interesting thing is that we told our side of the story and showed people that, all this stuff's all falling apart. We're just trying to say some of it. And we didn't have one nasty comment about it. So it almost kind of depends on the way it's spun. If the media gets hold of it and say, well, BC man came up here and he's raping our heritage and stealing all the stuff to sell for his full private thing, everyone freaking hates me. But if they take the time to listen to my story, they think that sounds reasonable, and they have a problem with it. So it's all depends on how you look at it, I guess.
So it says I've been subscribed for 5 to 6 years. Then you've been back for a year or two. Did you stop posting videos for a couple years? So no.
No, I never did. So it's kind of a little funny if you subscribe to something, and actually if you subscribe to something, you're not necessarily going to get a notification. I know that comes and goes. The YouTube's a little bit spotty, I guess. We put out a show every week, and if you come to the every Friday, we're going to change it maybe to midnight on Friday or something. So if you think of it like a regular TV show, where you're accustomed to tune into that channel at a certain time and watching every week, it'll be there every week for you. So, but then don't necessarily remind you or whatever. So hikers told on you. There was a guy that was in the campground. We were in a campground close to it. We had the stuff there, and he was kind of interested. And I said, "Oh yeah, so we got these old brakes and this bull wheel." And by the way, on that tram on the top there, everything's gone there. Everything's been stripped out of there. The only thing that was left was one large pulley that was where the hull cable was up, and the brakes, and they're too big. And there were a couple pieces that are 200 pounds. They're really heavy, and it's straight up and down. Nobody could figure out how to get them out of there. Somebody took the brake lever and all that. All that's gone. There's a blacksmith shop, all the tools, everything's come and gone. There's been lots of people up there. They took everything out of there. So that was the only thing that remained, and we wanted to do this as part of an operating tram. And like I say, the bottom part, everything's completely collapsed. It's all fallen in. It's going into the lake. The top part, it's really shaky. It's going to fall over too, and then it'll all be gone. So we're showing this guy. He says, "Oh, we rescued this stuff from this, abandoned mine and all that kind of stuff." And it turns out he was some kind of a government employee, and then he phoned the cops. And so the police came, and they said, "Where'd you get this stuff from?" I said, "It was from an old mine." He says, "Well, you're not allowed to take that." He says, "Why not? It's abandoned property." And he says, "Well, there's the Yukon Antiquities Act." I said, "The what?" And he says, "Oh, you're not allowed to take anything in 45 years." He says, "I never heard of any such thing like that." He says, "Yeah, it's against the law to take anything." And then he said, I can't remember what he said exactly. And then he said, if I surrendered the stuff, he wouldn't charge me with anything. And then they threatened to take my vehicle, because we had some other stuff we got from BC. And he said, "Well, I can just seize your vehicle and all that kind of stuff." And I said, "I'll tell you what, take whatever the hell you want, because I don't want to fucking hassle with you guys. it's unfair. That's not even come from here, but you take whatever you want. And he finally said, okay, just surrender those tram parts, and that'll be the end of it. And I don't even know, and then they said, well, you should read the laws and stuff. And I've spent days and days reading all that legislation, and I can't make any sense out of it. I sent an email to the RCMP officer, and he says, I'm having trouble understanding this law. And they ignored me. They wouldn't get back to me. I emailed the historic antiquities thing. They would. It is not that simple where you can just read something and understand the law. You'd have to be a lawyer and spend a lot of time. It's very complicated. So that's the story. That's what happened. So I didn't commit any crime, because the crime is you're not allowed to export anything out of the Yukon, which we didn't. We had it in our truck, and we were staying there, and we were going to take it down south, but we didn't. So we didn't actually, taking it out of the tram thing and putting it in our truck wasn't a crime. So, which is kind of a little strange. So anyone in the Yukon can take all that stuff out there, take it to their house and do whatever they want. Well, that's not a problem. But as soon as you take it out of the Yukon, then you commit a crime. So, yeah, it's kind of a strange situation. And the saddest thing I would say is that steam shovel. That steam shovel that we found in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows where this was. The way it got found is there was a pilot that was flying over the muskeg, and he seen a little silvery thing about 30 years ago. Circled around there a bunch of times. What the hell is that? So he snowshoed into it about 20 years ago, and he found this old steam shovel. And so he told a friend of mine, and we knew roughly where it was. We flew the drone, we found it. We went into there. Now that thing is pristine. There's nothing that's been taken out of there. It's all in perfect shape. The Yukon government knows where it is. So they're saying, there is only one other operating one in the whole world, and it's just in the middle of the muskeg, sinking into the muskeg. Why can't you take it out, put it on display, do something with it? Absolutely, they refuse to do anything. He says all the antiquities in the Yukon are going to stay where they are. You can't get a permit, do nothing with them. They got to stay there. So, I don't agree with that, but I guess that's the law. They make the laws. That's the way it is. So. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I go on these rants, eh? Mm-hmm. You guys ask the questions, I answer them. All right. It's not okay. So you didn't move from the state, you're fine. So it's not a state. It's a territory, actually. It's in Canada, right? So, yeah. So I'm okay with rescuing items just because they're going to rust away. So, I'd love to see, and it's not like the guy, the only other operating through steam shovel in the world was in a little gravel pit in Ontario, and there was an American that bought it, took it down, and their family restored the whole thing. It's operating in a place, I'm not sure, in the States somewhere, and they fire it up twice a year, fire it up and show people how it worked, and they did it. They spent all their own money. They restored this whole thing, and I think that's just so awesome. Now, this next generation can see how these things operate, and it's perfectly restored and operating. I'd love to see that happen to this one. I'm not saying that I want to take it and put it here. I don't have the skills to restore and display one like that. I'd like to see somebody do that. I don't care who. I think it's just a shame to have it sitting there rusting into the muskeg. That's my take on it. Not that I want the damn thing. I mean, if someone were giving me a stick in my yard, but that's not ideal. That's not really what should happen to it. We talked to the Yukon government, and so they have a dredge up there that we might have seen in our videos that's totally restored dredge. They spent a pile of money on there. I talked to the curator for Parks Canada, and I said, there's this real cool steam dredge. I can show you where it is. I'd love to help you get it out of there. Why don't you guys put it on display and have that as part of the heritage of the Yukon? It's the coolest thing. There's only one other one in the world. And he told me, and I didn't know that, we got a whole compound full of all kinds of stuff. We have no idea what to even do with it. And he said, we might even give you some for your museum. We got all this stuff. We don't have the funding. The government doesn't want to pay for it. So they don't even want the damn thing. Did you ever come across anyone mining an old claim illegally or whatever? I've never, no, never. Hi from Hollywood. Hello, Hollywood.
I know where there is a steam shovel in the United Kingdom. I'll get back to you and let you know where it is.
Yeah, this steam shovel, it's really cool because it was built. It was built on railroad tracks, so it was built. And it's kind of unusual if you study the history of the through steam shovel. It was built to go on tracks and build railways. so then they would have to put tracks down in front of us. It's really cool. The other one that's operating is not on tracks. It's on big steel wheels, and which is funny. If you ever look at that, the big steel wheels on it are slick. They don't have. You think, wonder why they wouldn't have welded some chevron type like a treads on it, and it could have moved. And if you read the history of it, they got to put it on wood planks because it gets stuck and spins all the time. How stupid are they? Why didn't they just weld treads on it? But I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, thanks, Robert. And that's a real cool steamed dredge, brother, from the Gold Rush TV show. So the one on the Gold Rush TV show wasn't a steam dredge. It was an electric one. So they got a genset on it now. But anyhow, it's cool too. How often do you replace your ropes? How often do you do a detailed inspection on them? So what happens to the ropes is the very outer sheath of them gets damaged. It's called the kerr mantle. So that only represents about 15% of the strength of the rope. But at that point, it doesn't slide through the climbing equipment very well. So pretty much at that point, we would replace it. So it's starting to be deteriorated. Some of them, we bought 2 brand new ropes last year when we went to Arizona. Actually, I was in the States when I bought them. We've chucked both of them out. They just got too worn. And people say, well, you should have edge protection. But the problem is, there's a whole bunch of, if you're going down a shaft or an incline thing, it's just a whole bunch of contact points all the way along there. And you're moving around. It's just not really possible to do that. So it's just a cost of doing business. So once they get the kerr mantle start to get damaged, what we typically do is sometimes we'll cut them to make shorter ropes, but then they get too short and then we just chuck them. So, yeah. Do you watch other videos on YouTube? Occasionally, not often. I watch some of Gly's stuff just because we're kind of doing similar things. Sometimes there's something interesting. So historical stuff, especially about the steam shovels, or people send me way more stuff that I could ever watch. Yeah.
Somebody said hi from Hatcher's Pass in Alaska.
Although you're probably not much enjoying too much sunlight these days. Like even here, we're right on the U.S.-Canada border, and it's dark at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're catching up on our video stuff.
I wonder if there's a loophole around the Yukon Antiquities law if a Yukon museum salvages it and transfers it to another museum outside of the territory.
It's kind of a complicated thing because there's First Nations in there, and they've made a deal that anything that's on their territory that they're kind of give them the responsibility for. So that's another layer of bureaucracy. An interesting story this guy told me from Parks Canada. He said, so they found Mark Twain's original cabin. Actually, like you say, Americans are a lot more interested in history than Canadians are. They really are. So some Americans found the original Mark Twain's cabin up in there somewhere around Dawson City. And of course, they wanted to do something, put it on display. The government absolutely refused. And same thing, it was sunken into the muskeg. There was hardly nothing left of it. They come up with a compromise. They took this thing, excavated it out, rebuilt the whole thing, sawed it in half, if you can believe this. And half of it got tripped down to California somewhere. It's on display somewhere like that, and the other half is in the Yukon, which is supposed to be the most iconic thing about the history. They should be very proud of the history and all that kind of stuff. And that's what happened. So that's what their mentality and their thinking is about history and what's important. And the other thing that's really disgraceful is the Faro mine operated in the Yukon for 30 some odd years, made that big mess of that video we showed you. They're spending $1 billion to, and the problem with that pollution in that mine is there's some acidic rock going into the Pelly River that is probably detrimental. Well, I'd say certainly somewhat detrimental to fish habitat. And what happens with acid leaching is it changes the pH of the water, and it kills fish organisms, or it's not good for the little organisms that fish goes on. So that's detrimental to fish. Doesn't really bother the fish, but it's not good for the habitat of that. So I really don't know how much it would really affect the fishery. But they're spending $1 billion on that, but they would spend zero to do anything for the history or anything else in that. So I don't know. I think that's kind of ironic. And the other thing is, in the States, the other steam shovel, they found a steam shovel that was in the bottom of a lake. What happened is the steam shovel was working in this lake, and then they flooded the lake, and the steam shovel got stuck. It couldn't get out of there, so they knew the steam shovel was there. It's been sitting underwater for the last 100 years or something like that. So the dam broke, so all of a sudden the steam shovel come out, and they got a permit to take this out of that. They had to fight fishing tooth and nail with the fisheries because they said when it gets flooded, we need that steam shovel should stay at the bottom of that lake, this 120-year-old steam shovel, for fish habitat, because it's good for the fish to have this historic thing in there. And they had to fight tooth and nail. So I think these people are crazy, I think. I don't know. I don't know where their priorities are. If they think historic piece of iron like that should be left in the bottom of the lake because fish might enjoy swimming through it. I mean, I don't know. I think they're cuckoo or something.
So, Ken, I think the man on the motorcycle said hi. He said he's going to come to the museum next time he's in Grand Forks. What's his last name?
Oh, that's not Ken.
Yeah. Okay. Who?
I know who it is.
Dundebeck.
Oh, Ken Dunbeck. Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
That's a different guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the other guy that went into a whole bunch of mines. Yeah. It'd be good to see you again, Ken.
Okay.
There's a channel on YouTube called Ghost Town Living. Yeah, we've talked about that. Maybe we'll have a look at some of those videos and go down there at some point. We can't go down there for just about another year. The border is going to be. I don't imagine the border is going to be open till. We're on a farm here, so we can't go anywhere in the middle of summertime. We won't be able to go into the States until next fall. So, we can do that. Any chalk formations in Canada? So chalk is basically calcite. So you see that all the time. It wasn't mined that much, but you see that. And what calcite is? It's left over from shellfish, eh? So it's crabs and stuff like that that's decomposed and stuff and caused calcium, right? So, have you been to the Red Dog mine? No, I haven't. The Red Dog mine it's in Alaska, and it's the primary source of ore for the Trail Smelter. So the Trail Smelter is specialized in zinc, so that's where they get a lot of their ore from. It's a huge zinc producer. So they wouldn't let us in there anyhow. There is no modern operating mine that would ever let us go anywhere near their operation. They, I don't know. Probably they wouldn't. I'm not sure. I guess I don't understand if a mine. They always say their operating responsibility and all that, and doing everything properly. I don't know why they wouldn't invite scrutiny from someone that knows the mining industry and the hazards and all that, and have someone come and ask intelligent questions and explain the process to the public. I don't understand that. I'm not against mining per se, but I don't mind asking questions about it, and I'd like to share it with you people. And the Faro mine was an exception, and I was shocked when I went up there. So I'm going to ask them if we can go for a little tour, and I thought, well, they're going to tell me go screw yourself. There's no way they're going to let me in there. They said, yeah, come on, we'll send a guy and do that. We spent the whole day. Well, thanks for the beer there, Paul. Appreciate that. And I was shocked when a mining company actually said, well, come on in, you can go for a tour and explain the whole process. But then I found out it's not a mining company. It's the government. The mine has been abandoned. The government ended up with a big mess, and they hired these consultants to do the reclamations. So it's not a mining company. So, yeah. But I don't understand why a credible organization that's mining and doing it responsibly, and I've asked lots of them, they all told me to take off and ignored me. There's not even one of them that'd be willing to have me come underground and they explain the process and what they're doing. Not even one, So I think it speaks for itself. Obviously, they're not proud of what they're doing because they don't want to be held accountable. I don't know why, but that's the only conclusion. The only reasonable conclusion there is really to come to, I think.
Keith says thanks, sir. He's enjoying his sweatshirt.
Okay. So the new we'll give you a link here. So the new merch site, we have different sweatshirts, and the labeling and stuff is better on them. You can have a look at them if you like. I'll just paste it here. So the stuff that Sharon's produced, actually, she's got some stickers that are a fair bit better than the ones that she did. Oh, you can have a look at it anyway. She's got some different type of sweatshirts and stuff. So I'm telling her she needs long sleeved
I'm working
t-shirts,
on
and
it.
she said she's gonna do it. So
Got lots of other things though. We have hats.
yeah, we
which
got those
didn't
truckers'
have,
hats and cups
and
and a bunch of other
coffee
stuff. So.
mugs and cell phone covers and toques.
And if there's other stuff you guys like to see or something, I don't know how we can get a hold of us. So
Right on that link.
okay.
Right on the link. You can contact me and I
I
send
don't
messages back.
I don't have the patience for all this. Like it's correct. You would not believe putting that merch site up how much work that is. The reason is everywhere in the world they have a different sales tax thing. So if you're shipping something to a different state, a different country, or something like that, you've got to know what the tax rate is and be able to remit that amount of tax. A crazy amount of work to do this kind of stuff. And I got no patience for it. Weird hit like button earlier. Just had to hit it again. What happened? I don't know. We got lots of likes. It says 202 likes. So thanks. Lots of people enjoy joining us, and I hope you enjoy the discussion. I guess not much of a discussion. I've just been babbling on, but is that Gly online? It is not Gly. I mean, this guy or that's not Gly. Do you look like Gly?
No.
No, it is not. No, Gly, he's in Arizona. So if you thought about picking a subscriber and taking them on a mine trip, I get I don't know how many emails where people say, "Oh, well, I'd like to tag along sometime." The problem is this: first of all, so if we find a mine, we'll go into a mine and explore that mine and document the mine, and then we move to the next one. We're not going to go back into that mine. So if we find out there's a mine somewhere and we want to go into it, we don't know what we're going to encounter and stuff. So unless someone wants to go into a mine that's got all their own equipment, rock climbing stuff and all that, they're not going to be able to go into the mine and follow us. So I've had that problem. Someone comes along and then as soon as it starts getting a little skinny or something like that, oh, that's too spooky. Well, what am I supposed to do? Go back home and we go back? I mean, and the other thing is the more people you have in a mine, the more complicated that gets because, if you're on ropes, you're having to wait for the next person. So there's not an advantage to having a whole bunch of people. It's good to have one other person maybe, but it not a big advantage to have more. So really the only time that we like to go with Sharon and I, we go into all these mines, that we like to go with another person is if they know where there's a cool mine they're experienced. If they say, hey, Frank, I live somewhere and there's this real cool mine, I know where it is, I can take you up there. Then they have their own equipment, they know how to do it, and we're happy to do that. So that's really the only time that we really want to take people to the mines. Other than that, I'm just a tour guide, and I'm not really interested in doing that. I'd rather have people go to the museum. I can explain them how all the mining stuff and all that stuff, and do that here in a safe environment, rather than taking people up in the middle of nowhere doing that. So, have you ever been in inside any California mines? Yes, we're in Atolia. So that the stuff that we've seen. If you look back, I don't know, 20 shows or so back there in Atolia, there was a bunch of mines. It was a really cool mining district, and we're going to go back into that Randsburg, Atolia area. Fascinating. Lots of cool stuff to see there, good head frames, and we've been seeing a bunch of stuff on Google Earth. It's a really cool place to go visit.
Have you ever found lanterns in mines? They've never seen any on your videos.
I did find just one outside. Lanterns aren't common at all. Carbide lamps, lots and lots. We have all kinds of carbide lamps in the museum that we found underground. It's very common to see carbide lamps. They didn't use lanterns in mines. They use carbide. I think it's because it maybe burns a lot cleaner. The lanterns burn kerosene, so it's like diesel, right? So, you're in a confined space, they just didn't use them very often. Good points. I didn't think of it like that. Thank you. Wish I knew what you were talking about, but but you're welcome.
Taking people in mines. That's
okay. Well, taking people in mines. Yeah,
I think that's what he's talking about.
People that are more casual explorers or something. Something maybe. And I take people's safety seriously too. The problem is, everyone has different skill sets and stuff. Like if. I don't do mine tours. It's something, and if I take somebody into a mine, something happens to them, I'm liable because basically I'm an expert, and whatever hazards that were in the mines, I should have been able to anticipate them and not legally. I would be responsible for them, both morally and legally. So it's not something I would take lightly.
What was the mine that you and Sharon went to where the guy owns the whole ghost town?
That's Castle Dome. Yeah, that's Castle Dome. And actually, that isn't a ghost town. I mean, it was. It's built up as a ghost town, but when he got that on that mine, there wasn't any buildings there. They built all those buildings, but they got lots of cool artifacts. And if you guys like rocks and minerals and stuff, you go underground. It's kind of expensive. I think it's about $75 he charges, but the phosphorescent, the fluorescent is just spectacular. The colors and stuff you see underground there. So it was really cool. The stuff you did with the bat people. I was just talking about that to Sharon. It's probably the most least popular video that we've ever done, and I think it's kind of interesting. But yeah, we did a bunch of. Actually, they paid us to take a bunch of them in there because we knew there was bat species that they'd never seen before, and the numbers that were unheard of. So we got paid to be the tourist and to do that. And they had a big grant to do a bunch of studies on how many bats were there, and that money's dried up. And but proud to say, up in Phoenix is where this big Townsend bat population. There's probably 1,000 or thousands of bats up there. Every time we go up there, there's more and more bats. So the habitat's very good there. So the big problem is this white nose disease, and what it causes is the bats, when they're hibernating, they use up all the energy flying around, and they basically starve to death and they die. And back east, there's different species called little brown bats and stuff. They've seen up to 99% mortality rates. It just devastated the populations. It hasn't been detected in BC, but also the species that we have aren't that susceptible to it. So it hasn't been an issue so far. It may be in the future. So no human remained of some. No, there never has been, and there's not really likely to be. I mean, if there's been a mine accident, people today, as they were back in the older days, they were respectful of human life. Usually, what happened is if somebody died was in an explosion or something like that, and they dug them up or whatever, found them, and give them a proper burial. It would be very unlikely or uncommon to see human remains. I would say probably more likely that if you're maybe in a mine in maybe Arizona or California, maybe a shaft going straight down that no one been in, that maybe somebody killed somebody and they dumped the body there. That'd be probably the most likely scenario that you would find human remains, I would think, but we never found anything like that. Many other animals, so all the way from a lot of deer, parts of deer, rats, mine cats, mice, all kinds of different animals, snakes, different things, but never human remains, no. And and a lot of people, on YouTube and stuff, and they make a lot of sensational claims about all this kind of stuff, but most of it's nonsense. It's printed in the regs to use caution, different than a boat from sea to lake. Not really. I mean, especially in America, it's a pretty litigious society. There's lots of lawyers there. If somebody gets hurt, they're going to be looking to blame somebody. And if somebody doesn't know much about mining exploring, I take them underground, rightfully so, I'll probably be the responsible party that I should have known better. So it's best to avoid that. Are you still flying? We just had that powered parachute, so that's about it. I probably don't have a good, temperament, whatever, flying airplanes. I'm a little too impatient and I probably take risks that I shouldn't. I had 500 hours of flying. I flew all across Canada, ended up backwards place that nobody flew into, up the north as far as the ocean, but crashed 4 planes, right? So I wasn't seriously hurt. I've never been hurt in mines or in flying aircrafts, but or kind of pushing the limits of what a person should be doing. Have you been down to New Mexico? No, I have not been to New Mexico. The closest I got to New Mexico, we were down in, I think, Kingman, as far as we were with Arizona, and Kingman is as far as east as we went in Arizona. So What about earthquakes? Ever experienced them in a mine? No, there's not many earthquakes in this area, so hasn't been a problem. So so let's talk a little bit about mine safety or something. There's a lot of people that get killed in mines, but it's not necessarily the mine that's that dangerous. So what the problem is if you have a lot of people working underground. So you got heavy equipment operating, you got explosives, people are sending rocks down chutes, and they got all this activity where all these people are doing these things. All those things are hazardous. Lots of people underground, they fall down chutes, get run over by trains. Someone sends something down a chute where someone's working. So all these things are because there's different activity going on in the mine, blasting. So you got an unstable rock and the whole mine shaking all the time. So you got all these different things happening. If you're just sneaking through a mine quietly and not touching anything, which I talk about a lot, there's not likely, the mine's fairly stable. It's just suddenly something's just going to break or fall off if you don't cause that to happen. So the hazards of exploring abandoned mines are actually probably a lot less, or certainly, in my opinion, are far less than actually working in an abandoned mine or in an underground mine. And today, the miners are much safer than they were. There's far better procedure as far as handling explosives and on all this stuff. Just generally, it's a lot. Back in the old days, the mine owners were very rammy and the production was king. Now, just in general, work is a lot safer than it ever used to be. And there's very few mines operating underground, and I would think they're fairly safe. So, Kirk, you gave me $10. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you ever do any mining yourself for fun? I do not. No. We've taken. We have a pretty good collection of different types of ore and samples and stuff from the museum for people to see. Mining is for what you see on TV and all that. Most of it's a lot of malarkey. It's a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of money to make money mining. It's very difficult. The interest, even placer mining. Most people that placer mine, they'd be lucky if they ever recover the cost of their equipment. Very lucky, I would say. It's hyped up. It's not mining is not a way to make a bunch of easy money. There were pretty extensive deposits. They were easy to get to a long time ago. They've been gone for a long time. The men that mined years ago and all these small surface deposits, placer mines, they work much harder than we do these days for less money. It's just not. It's hyped up as a quick, rich scheme. I bet you I've made way more money on YouTube than I ever could make mining. I'm sure of it.
What's your most favorite artifact you've ever found aside from the Levi's?
Well, it's a good thing you said aside from the Levi's. So a couple of things that I really enjoy is signs. I love the old signs because it almost kind of puts you back in the mentality of what was happening in there. Like, look out for trains. We've got a bunch of museum. Look out for trains and the exit signs and you wear the goggles when you're grinding. Powder room, explosive. The signs. I love the signs that I see underground. So, yeah.
Were you in Bradshaw Mountains when you were in Arizona?
I was not. No, that's further east than old.
So there's lots of historic mines
there. Yeah. Is Sharon afraid of bears? Actually, she loved bears. She has a great big bear in her bedroom. His name is Nelson, a big black bear. It's a stuffed bear. No, she's not afraid of bears, but she doesn't like rats. So. And I like to tease her about it, and we have a lot of fun with it. So. And you guys do too. Just saying thank you for all you do. I learned so much. You know what? And it's funny. We were in the smelter today in Greenwood, and I hadn't been there for about 5 years when I first started doing this show. And there was a bunch of ore chute gates there, and I didn't even know what they were. And I was trying to figure out what they were. And that was kind of funny. We've seen hundreds of, I don't know, maybe not hundreds, dozens of them underground, and they're so common space. And then, so we learned an awful lot over the years. And a lot of it is because of the comments and stuff that when I do something on a video and I say something that's wrong or I don't know what something is, people say that, and then, we look back at it. So, thanks. And we've learned a lot from you people too. So, not only from all we do and the research and being on the ground. So there's, a lot of different ways to learn stuff. Any plans to return to Antioch? No, we don't have any plans to return to Antioch. But like I said, my buddy Kevin is probably going to take over the operation of the slag operation there, and I'll probably be maybe doing some work with him to help him doing some loadout. So if all of a sudden we get a plane ticket to get paid up there and do a little bit of work up there, we're definitely going to be motivated to go up there. Difficult place to get to otherwise, because it's 2 days of solid driving to get up there, 60 miles on a boat, and then 2 days back. So 4 days of solid driving, and then the boat and all that. Difficult place to get to, and but if you get paid, and he says you got some work up there, it makes it way easier. We love the place. We'd like to go back up there. I'd love to show it to Sharon. She'd go crazy with her camera. Please feel free not to answer about your late puppy. I had a mishap of mine. Were you able to retrieve the pup? No, I definitely was not. I mean, he fell down a 600-foot shaft straight down. He's dead at the bottom of the mine. So why would I risk my life to pull his body out to bury him somewhere else? The dog loved mines and stuff, and it was an unfortunate thing that happened to him. I don't see the point of. Then psychologically, I don't need to see a dog smashed all to bits at the bottom of a big hole.
Any mines you wish you could have seen but are now gone?
Yes, there was one close to Rosslyn called the Velvet Mine, and there was a big shaft there. And before I had climbing stuff there, we took some pictures of it. I thought, oh, that's cool. We should go there someday. Went back there, and Tech Kamenko, they filled the whole thing right up, right to the front, and demolished everything there. There's nothing left of it at all. So yeah, it's didn't get there in time for that one. So, have you ever looked into hooking up with a 3D imaging company and to work with you in videos? That is something that we've talked to a lot of people about. So the most popular video game in the world is Minecraft, and it's I've never played it. Or they don't play video games. Not since Super Mario Brothers, not a long time ago. So Minecraft is created with graphics from the 80s, and it's terrible graphics. So why wouldn't a company go in with us or whatever, go into a mine and take high quality images of the whole mine or whatever, and you could have a game where you could go through and actually see an actual mine with a high quality image thing, and then you could decide, well, you're going to go up this shaft or down that shaft and houses, or however they make the video games. But I never, I've kind of floated the idea out there, but I've never heard that. So. South side of Canucks is open to the public. The movie set at the Tall Man of Samo. Okay, we were in there. So that is the Canucks is what's that mine called? Ugh, I got a brain fart. We were in there. We documented all that. We took the side by side into there, and I can't think of the name of that mine.
Where you went with...
Me and Ken went.
Oh, that's the Ken that said
yeah,
hi.
that's the Ken, yeah.
Ah, okay.
There's another name for Canucks. There's a tungsten lead producer. Yeah, we went in there and documented the whole thing. It's massive. We were in there at the side-by-side most of the day going through it. And it was a modern mine. I think it was the last operated in the 80s. And had a big town there. It was pretty cool. So, yeah, you can get into there, yeah.
On your videos, I can hear you verbalizing the options of moving into an unsafe area. Is that unconscious or intentional psyching up to risk it?
I can't hear it, so it wouldn't be. It's not intentional. No, I'm not aware of it. The easiest way to end up with $1 million mining start $2 million. Yeah. Or actually, the easiest way to make money mining is get on Discovery, right?
Well, somebody asked if you're watching
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
Yeah, I do. It's one of my favorite shows, and not because maybe it's all that interesting, the mining part of it. I don't know, the characters. I think the characters interesting. The editing and filming as well. I don't know why I enjoy it. Really, on the surface of it, it's like someone running a gravel pit with a little bit of gold coming out. We do enjoy it. We watch it.
Somebody asked if you've gone to Discovery about a mine exploring channel.
Like farming, Paul. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, mine is kind of like farming. But actually, I made a lot of money farming. Actually, the only business that I know of where you can lose money every year for 30 years in a row and then retire to a big house in town. All right. I'm sorry. You said something? Somebody asked what?
If you've gone to Discovery about just a show on mine exploring.
Okay, well that's not the way it works. The way it works is Discovery they have production companies that pitch stuff to them. So you have a production company like the one we're working with, and they say, we've got this idea for this show, and they watch a bunch of it, and they say, nah, that doesn't look good, or yeah, that's really exciting. We're going to give you a little bit of money to do, one episode of it or do different stuff, and then they produce that show for Discovery. Discovery is just a broadcaster; they don't produce anything, so they're the ones that buy the shows. They don't produce anything, so you don't talk to Discovery about anything. And they won't even talk to you anyhow. So you need to deal. And I've had lots of contact with these different production companies that say, oh, you want to come work with us and do this and that, and they do these different pitches, and they pitch that to History or Discovery. But so far, it hasn't worked in a deal that would work. I guess that we're interested in. I'm probably satisfied just sticking it on YouTube. We would be open to do something that's cool. We're not going to do something that's a bunch of bullshit. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a little bit hard to deal with. I'm not going to make a phony show, a bunch of crap just to have my face on TV. Probably famous enough on YouTube. Doesn't bother me. So we enjoy doing what we're doing, and we'll keep doing it. And I think with the history part of it I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. So thank you for the $20, sir. I appreciate it. All this stuff, you'll see this.
Jersey Mine.
The Jersey Mine, that's what it's called, exactly. Yeah, Jersey Emerald. Thank you. So all the stuff we're talking about the museum and all these other projects and other stuff we have there. So we're going to spend the money we get from YouTube and, the donations and that kind of stuff. And the money we get from YouTube is I got to say, it's pretty good. And I don't want to talk about it maybe too much, but it's pretty good. It covers our expenses and you guys, by watching our videos, it really supports what we're doing. So we really appreciate that, and that money we're putting into the museum, and we're going to get more and more, trying to save more stuff and have more stuff for funeral general. So so this is something we're passionate about, and we're going to continue doing. I had a big cattle ranch and I retired from that, so it's not something that I need to do to make a living or whatever. As long as the people are interested in what we're doing, we're going to continue doing it. And we're not trying to get rich of it. I've got enough money to do what I want to do, and I love doing this, and we'll just continue doing it. And if people don't like it, they can piss off. I don't care. I have to run. Well, you can run. Absolutely.
Says, have a wonderful time with your explorers and always come home safe. Don't get hurt getting us a better shot. Thank you so much for taking us with you. Take care.
People talk about that a lot too, and they say that they think that I'm risking my life to get views on YouTube and all that. Absolutely not. I don't do anything I'm uncomfortable with. I don't mind documenting. I don't take risks. I've been doing this for 5 years. I put a show up, everything. I don't get any big thrill from being on YouTube. That's long gone past. I enjoy doing the editing and kind of sharing that kind of stuff, and I enjoy the comments and all that kind of stuff. But I certainly don't take risks to become more popular on YouTube. The Colmont Tulameen area. Well, that's where the Headley mine's in that area. The Headley, just a really cool. Another Harley Davidson. No, I'm not getting none of those. Flying a park bird is a lot more fun than riding a Harley. I had a Harley for years too. So.
The movie Gray Fox?
I have not watched it. No, I have never.
Mine was featured in
Gray Fox was a Harley. It was a Harley at one time, an old one. What's the scariest experience you've had in mine? Probably almost when Sharon and I were into a mine in Weimar there, and it was pretty steep and it was wet. We had a tough day, and we had a big rock that came down and smacked me on the shoulder real hard, left a big bruise. And we had a really tough time getting our equipment. I had to go back up and down, and it was wet, and I was beat up, and I had almost no energy left at the end. And not really scary, but probably the most unpleasant and maybe one of the most dangerous things that we've done. So, and I felt really bad for putting Sharon into that, I was probably maybe bothered more by it than she was. I don't know, but I don't think I should have put her in that position. I felt bad for her, and I'm probably sure I wouldn't do that anymore. So we shouldn't have went in. We shouldn't have went in that mine. It was just too much. It wasn't really steep. It was quite steep, but very much unstable stuff, and it was too hazardous. We shouldn't have went into it. Not Hadley, Colmont, Tulamine. Yeah, no, is it difficult keeping track what tunnel and that you've gone through? That's kind of funny because I sometimes I've got a really good talent for remembering my way around underground. And we've been in the mines. I took Sharon in the mines I hadn't been to in very many years. We were up to the Mac Man. I've been there for a long time. We were at different things. And I remember the whole mine and where it is. I've got a phenomenal memory for layouts of mines and stuff like that. My memory, I can't remember where I parked my car, but for some reason, I've got a real knack for that. And I've taken lots of people underground and they always go in the wrong way. So what? And I've got a natural talent for kind of remembering where I was underground. I mean, it's not perfect, but it doesn't. It's not something that really phases me.
How far are we from Hope, BC?
Probably about 4 hours.
Okay.
There is a mine that we'd like to go near Hope called the Caroline Mines. And we'd like to know if any of you guys know if we can get in there, because there's been a modern mining company. It's a cool mine. The Caroline's a cool mine. There's been some more modern companies doing a bunch of snooping. You know, these junior mining companies, they're a bunch of scam artists. Don't ever buy any of those shares to them, guys. They'll pick up an old mining property and they'll say, oh, you know, the old timers are so stupid. We're going to go there and open this mine up, and they raise a whole bunch of money, dig a few holes, spend a whole bunch of investors' money, and then they move off, pack off, and go to the next place, and usually destroy anything historic and ruin all the buildings and sell all the stuff for scrap and all that. And I don't know, they're just kind of like parasites or something. I don't know. People think they're getting rich by investing in these mining companies and whatever.
This is a Rambo movie was filmed in Hope, or around Hope, and they wondered what mine it was.
It was, and I've wondered about that too. It was a smaller mine, but I don't know which one it was. It'd be cool if we could find out which one it was and go into it for it was. Because actually, the one part in the Rambo movie, he was in a mine. It was a small tunnel, and a rat jumped on him and was biting him. Obviously, a little bit of. We're gonna have to watch that movie sometime just for the fun of it. Maybe we can get a clue as to where it was. But yeah, but it would be kind of fun to find out. I don't know where it was filmed. It'd be kind of cool to see if we can get into it. Well, thanks for the editing department is working overtime here. I have a good bit of videos of yours, brothers, brought up on it. Wow. Robert, if you want, you could just ban those people for making comments on the channel. It'd be just as easy. I don't need to hear, that kind of stuff. I don't know why it is that people get on YouTube and they think that they can make, rude, nasty comments they would never make to your face. It has nothing to do with mining, by the way. I don't know. It's beyond me, and it just doesn't happen on this channel. It happens a little bit. But I don't know. In general, I'm not sure where people's mentality is, yeah. Trolls, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't go up to a stranger on the street and make sexual comments about their preferences or whatever. I mean, they would give you a punch in the face like every day if you did that. Why would you do it? Why would you do it online? I mean, what's the point for one thing? I mean, why would you be that rude and disgusting to someone you don't even know for no reason? I don't get it. But anyhow, I guess that's. With the Facebook thing, well, Sharon doesn't really like the Facebook thing, and that's the thing that we have to kind of tolerate, where most of the comments are fair and constructive, and I enjoy the interaction of it. But people can say whatever they want, and it's good and bad, I guess, But it's it is what it is. I guess you guys know how that works, right? So. You can get in the Clare miles, but it does have a gate and it's a little ways away. But if you've got a side-by-side, you should be able to get around the gate, no problem. Okay, well, what we're thinking about when we get this new truck, I don't know how much snow we'd likely to see on it or how far away it is. I'll do some more research. when we got this new truck, the new 5500 we're getting, we'd like to do some traveling with the sled, and we got some cool stuff we're going to show you that we can get into and do a little bit of exploring with it. I guess I haven't looked at the Carolina. I guess it's fairly low in altitude. Is it likely we're going to see snow there or not? I'm not sure. All right. Okay.
I didn't see anything.
If you found a mine, you couldn't find
a record of.
I'm confused too. You're one crazy SOB. Love the videos. Well, it isn't really that I'm crazy. It's, everyone has different comfort levels or skill sets or something else. So I see other people doing things I'm crazy too. But, we're all comfortable in doing different things. I don't think what I do is particularly hazardous or dangerous, but other people do. So it all depends on what you're comfortable with.
How's it going, you two, from two beautiful people all the way from Bonnie Lake, Washington? You guys rock, literally, and mind. You two are badasses.
Thanks. We appreciate the support and the positive comments and stuff.
A couple people have asked if we're coming to Australia.
Well, I don't see that happening anytime soon, and I wouldn't necessarily rule it out, but it's going to be very difficult to get there. So for this place, we can fly from here, the most expensive place, and then you get there, you'd have to rent a vehicle. You don't know anything, where to go or anything like that. So logistically, it's really difficult. I mean, I can fly to Mexico for $500 and get a room for $20 a night, and rent a vehicle for $100 a day, and that's even kind of a little difficult. It's much easier to drive to the States with my own truck and my travel trailer and go around there and do that. So logistically, it's very difficult to do that.
Do you have any retirement plans? Or do you plan on exploring until the day you can't do it anymore?
Well, I am retired. I was a cattle rancher and I came down here and I was retired, and then I started flying my plane and I was seeing a bunch of holes. I said, I got to go check them out. So, this is a full-time job now. But why would I? I mean, that was my biggest fear when I retired from ranching. I said, I'm going to be bored and have nothing to do. So, very grateful and thankful that this gives me something to do.
Somebody's asking about
Mike, it's about 6 or 7 kilometers from the main gate. Any idea if there would be snow at the main gate or what the elevation is? It's close to Hope. You think we can sled up there? So that'd be my question. A lot of questions.
The gate's right at the exit, pretty much, of the Coquihalla number 5.
I don't know where that is. So yeah. Tunnel, or is that Mike from Cascade? Are you Mike from Cascade? There's lots of mics around. I know lots of mics.
Somebody saying hi from a Norwegian fan. Keep up the good work.
Oh, hello. We've watched the show Hell on Wheels, and there's a character in there, his name's Gunderson. He's a Norwegian, but I'm sure most of you guys are much nicer than him. That was a cool show. If you've ever seen that show called Hell on Wheels, it's actually filmed in Alberta, but it's supposed to be an American show of the two railways going across country around the late part of the 1800s to put the railway across. A pretty good show. If you guys ever seen it, Hell on Wheels. How many cold beverages do you take with you on the mines? None. We have before, but what ends up happening, you end up cursing too much, and then it makes a lot more extra work for video. You don't realize it. It's pretty much. So I normally don't. I usually do our drinking after we're done.
Going to get another Dodge that is a 5500?
Yes, I'm going to get a 5500. That's the new truck we just bought. So they're just putting a deck on it. So that's pretty cool. It's got like 11-foot deck. It's dually. So we can probably maybe get a bigger side-by-side if we want, but carry a lot more gear. and a little more power. So, hey man, what's the oldest mine you've ever found? We answered that a little while ago. It'd be in Zacatecas, Mexico. There's 500-year-old mines there, and most of them aren't all impressive. You know, looking back that far back, then there was lots of pretty good ore and stuff in there. There were no mines before that, so they didn't have to dig very deep, close to the surface. And they just had basic hand tools and black powder. They didn't have dynamite even back then, so there's no artifacts, nothing in there. So probably the more interesting mines that we find, there's kind of a sweet spot between the very late 1800s, maybe 1920. That's where the more interesting mines, the more interesting artifacts are, because the technology evolved quickly with the drills and explosives to have a lot more extensive stuff, and there's more equipment there. So that's kind of where there's probably 30 years of golden years of mining from 1890 maybe to 1920, and that's kind of where all the cool stuff is that you're going to see underground. As far as we've done stuff from before and after that, but that's kind of where most of the interesting stuff's at.
They're asking about the year end of your museum. What new additions? What are you be showing them?
Watch and see. It says, hi Frank, fellow Splunker. Have you ever seen uneasy feeling of not being alone in the mines? Not really, but there is a caveat to that. So if you're underground, or personally myself, if I'm underground for a long time, and Sharon does the same thing, but less time for her, more for me. If you've been underground for a lot of hours, you just want to get to the surface, and it's a psychological thing, and then you start getting uncomfortable. It's not that I'm scared of ghosts or believe in any of that stuff or whatever, but the thing is, when we're underground, you got a bunch of gear and you're climbing a bunch of stuff. Physically, it's taxing. You're having to think all the time. So I'm thinking about which way to go, the hazards. So your mind is working very hard. Your body's working hard. And so it's very exhausting. So after a bunch of hours, you're done. So then you start feeling you want to go. So there is that, I guess, if that makes any sense to you. But do you think there'll ever be any modern day gold rushes? Oh, absolutely not. Do you think all the recoverable gold has been found? Oh, no, absolutely not. But the high grade gold and the easiest stuff to get is there. There's lots of places where there's gold that are at low concentrations, but with the modern equipment and stuff, they can move a huge amount of overburden material to get grades that are minuscule compared to what they were. So the rich stuff, the good stuff has been gone. The easy stuff's been gone, but now the technology that they have, they could get good grades of gold, or it's possible to have proper mining operations with low percentages of gold, but underground mining, almost obsolete. Very little. It's very dangerous, very expensive. All the big profitable mines are all going to be open pits, so which is boring to us, right? More or less, anyways. I'm on my '96 Dodge Ram 1500. All right, so I should keep my mouth shut. I'm going to piss you off. Like a 1500 is like a station wagon with a pickup box on it. No, we haul heavy stuff and we do more extreme stuff. And the truck that I bought, the 1 ton, I bought it out of Canada. Actually pulled big heavy trailers, lots of hay on it. So it's a working truck. It's not somewhere to just drive around with. So but the other thing I would say is I just love that Dodge. I bought it brand new in 05, and I'm just a big fan of Dodge stuff. What else can I say? I don't know. Sharon, there's like there's 4 arrows up Sharon. I heard Gly mention a half ounce to a ton of ore. Is that common? Well, that in the old days in the underground mines, that would be almost marginal. The grades were sometimes higher than that. Today with their mining, it would be pretty good. In open pit, it's almost unheard of. That would be really Richard. So it kind of depends, eh? So it depends if you're talking about an open pit mine or if you're going underground. So like you say, back in the old days, it would be marginal. Everything of guiding tours in the U.S. mines for us U.S. newbies. No, I don't. I don't. I have no interest in doing that.
You ever heard of Phil Schneider?
No, I've never heard of.
Testimony about U.S. military operations underground.
I doubt it. I wouldn't be interested. No, there's so many different aspects to underground stuff that you can get into, and I don't know. You need to be kind of focused on one thing. You can't be all over the place trying to be an expert on everything. I think I don't know. Frank, would you ever consider shaving? Yeah, I had to shave all the time when I worked in the oil patch, but if I don't get paid to shave, I ain't doing it. So.
That's good. I enjoy watching Sharon's reactions as she reads ahead while you answer questions. Because I'm always reading down there.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a waste of time. I mean, I could be spending my time better in bed having sex than getting up, scraping all the hair off my face every morning, right?
True.
All right. Mines or caves. So, in case you don't know, the difference is mines are man-made excavations underground, caves are natural. So, I don't know, the cave people seem to think that caves are safer than mines, which I think personally ridiculous because mines were constructed for men and equipment and material to move in and out of underground spaces. Caves are just random openings. And there's been all kinds of people in caves that's been squeezing through tight places, got trapped by raising water and all that kind of stuff. So, the difference between an abandoned mine and a cave, yeah. But anyways, it's my take on it. When you hit minus 60 in the 5.9 Cummins, is the only diesel that runs. Well, people always bullshit about the weather, but the coldest temperature ever in Canada was only minus 63. So I don't think you're going to see minus 60 too often. And it was in the 40s. I understand, brother, you're not making me mad at all, brother. I'm just a big fan of Dodge. Well, I mean, there's different tools for a different job, right? I mean, if you just have a truck to drive back and forth to work and haul your groceries home, and you don't need a 1-ton diesel, So.
This guy's asked a few times, have you ever considered getting those cheap $2 LED blinkers from Amazon for making the stopes you go up instead of stacking rocks?
For marking the stopes instead of stacking rocks?
You know where you came
from.
Okay,
well, it's very rare that we ever do that. Sometimes, yeah, we've only done it maybe a few times. Probably the best thing is just, and we don't have it all the time, probably should just have some flagging or something or something like that. Sometimes, yeah, you wonder if you're going to get to the right branch to get back down, and it has been a minor problem sometimes. But yeah, we'll try. I got a question. What kind of beer are you drinking? I'm not familiar with that can. It actually is not a very popular brand. It's a very local brand. But I like beer with a little bit more than 5% alcohol in it, and this is the only one that I can find at our local liquor store. We live in a small town. Because extra old stock at 5.65. I just find most of the 5% beer kind of bland and doesn't have much taste to it. And basically, you pay the same amount for the beer and it's got more alcohol in it, so it's a good deal. I'm cheap, sorry. Caribou, yeah.
But what's the news I missed? That would be our.
All right, so yeah, we should. We'll give you a link here, and what it is Sharon and her daughter has been working. They set up a shop that they got a whole bunch of EM merch, cups and hats and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you guys are asking for different stuff with our logo on, stickers and all kinds of stuff. So they've done that. So you down in Arizona? No, I have not. We're not in Arizona. We left Arizona on the 5th of March. They closed the border a few days after that, and you're not able to go from Canada to the United States across the land crossing since then, so it's closed. So.
Somebody already got a hoodie. Whew.
I got a hat. I don't know.
I was the very first person to order, and I have got nothing yet.
Well, you didn't pay for it.
I think so.
The hats are really cool.
Oh, somebody wants a mesh back trucker hat. That was something we were trying to decide, so we might put those on there.
So the hat that I got, I'm kind of expensive, I thought. No, she thinks it's not. But whenever I'm cheap, I guess. I don't know.
Very good deal.
Awesome. It just doesn't say expired man miles out, but it's got awesome logo and really good quality on the stitching and stuff like that. So I liked it. It was good.
Somebody said the shirts look good. Nice job. Perfect.
Iron Horse beer from Prince George, 9%. Yeah, can't get it here, but I've drank it before. Yeah. My dad did the math on the truck. Turns out to be a 3/4 ton because how much I can haul. Well, yeah, that doesn't really mean 3/4 ton. Not 3/4 of a ton. It's only 1,500 pounds. I mean, you could put that much in the trunk of a station wagon, could you? I mean, I don't know. Well, the one ton you probably put about 5,000 pounds. That'd be 2.5 tons if you put it ahead far enough. But I don't know. The big difference between a half ton and like a 3/4 ton is the axles and the brakes, and it's not so much the suspension, but that other stuff is quite a bit heavier. Hello from North Carolina.
We have some merchandise that I can buy next time I'm through. I was thinking of doing that, maybe ordering some stuff and having a little bit of each thing here at the museum so that if people are interested.
Well, Sharon's going to entertain you for a minute. For a minute, answer some questions. I need to go to the men's room.
Not sweet. So, yeah, possibly I might get some shirts and hoodies and maybe a couple of coffee mugs or something and just keep them here. Four times, right now I think I just have small, medium, and large, but it's definitely something we can add is the bigger sizes. I just haven't done it yet. Lingerie brand coming soon. Didn't really think of that one. No, not really. They're direct to garment printed. I don't think I know that answer. Sorry, no, I'm not sure. It doesn't feel good. Favorite thing about exploring? I love adventures. I love all the fun. I love being outdoors. And was totally new to me. Knew nothing about it, so I've learned a lot. I should beanie style hats. No toques and just the snapback hats. My pictures? No. I'm just actually learning how to use my camera. I'm not really good at it, so now I've never really thought of that. I just really enjoy doing it.
Like my t-shirt? Sharon got me for that.
I did.
Got me that. I'm not a big Christmas fan. So the other thing that we're kind of thinking about doing is a lot of you guys kind of enjoy Sharon's photographs and stuff. So on our merch site and stuff, we're thinking of maybe making a couple books if we can find all the really good pictures that she takes of different mines and stuff. So we're thinking about making a coffee table book. So what we'd like to hear from you guys. Is that something maybe you'd be interested in? We've just ordered one from Facebook for a bunch of stuff. So that's another thing we're kind of thinking about. Maybe we could share with you guys if that's something that you guys would be interested in. Noisy trip to the West Room. Yeah, everything I do is noisy. I'm not subtle and quiet about anything.
Nope.
If you're new, you kick butt, Sharon. Sharon is probably the bravest mine explorer that ever done stuff. She's a really awesome climber. We were down in Arizona. There's shafts like going straight down. I'm looking at there. You're just looking back. We got all her stuff on there. We're tied up there. I really want to go down there, and I look, and she's going down there already. She's a little squeamish about. She was a little squeamish about tight places, but she's squeezing through a lot tighter. She's a really good mine explorer, and probably the best thing as a mine explorer is her judgment. And I always tell her, if you're not comfortable, and there's been places she says, no, I don't want to go in there, and I respect that, and it's very important. Never try to push someone beyond their comfort zone. So. I think a good part of being a mine explorer is being smart. So, and she is. So, I really appreciate that. And I know she feels bad if she doesn't want to go somewhere, but absolutely nobody should ever feel bad if they're outside of their comfort zone. You need to respect know your abilities and operate within them. So I think that's very important. Definitely we're doing this. We need to be safe. And so. All right, you're an awesome sidekick and a cutie as well. Yes, she is very cutie. Do you get tired of listening to my balls constantly?
There's something else. Oh, somebody said a calendar.
Any more episodes with abandoned mines and forgotten places? We've got a bunch of footage we're going to edit soon. I'm not really sure when, but we'll. You'll see that sometime. Calendar is maybe an interesting idea. I don't know. Something we could think about.
I'm really not sure because I'm totally new to taking pictures, and I really don't have them very well organized yet. So I have a lot of.
Anyone do exploring on mines on Vancouver Island? Yes, I did take a trip down to Vancouver Island a couple of years ago. If you look back at our previous things, the grouse, I'm not sure what episode it was, the blue grouse mine, one in Port Alberta. There's three mines we visited there. Vancouver Island had a lot of coal mines. We don't go to coal mines any other, too dangerous. They're pretty much all filled in. There's not really much for mines on Vancouver Island compared to this area, but we had some fans there, and it was really cool. They said, we know there's a bunch of really cool mines on Vancouver Island. If you want to come out and explore them, we'll host you. So I flew out there, they picked me up from the airport. We spent 3 days wandering around, shot a bunch of video, and that worked out really good to me. For me to go to Vancouver Island, trying to find those mines and stuff, we were up in Jordan River and in Port Alberta, different places. That worked out really well. But there isn't really much other reason to go to Vancouver Island other than what we're very soon there.
Somebody asked, what mine did you drain the water from in your
That was at Antioch, yeah. Antioch.
And somebody wants to know where these T-shirts are, so I'm just going to paste that again. Didn't I hit this?
Yeah, that was at Antioch. And the other interesting thing about Antioch, it has one of the largest environmental, issues or whatever, as far as acid drainage. There's a huge amount of acid where we drain those. So what you're seeing there with that yellow stuff there, what it is there's iron that's oxidizing. So the oxygen, the air gets in there, and it's basically rusting the pyrites and the iron stuff out of there, and it causes the water to be very acidic, which is harmful to the organisms that fish live on. So it's not just the yellow; it's not just the yellow color. Those are solids in there. It's mostly the pH is just too high for that. But the thing is, it's only about, I think, a mile, maybe 2 miles at the very most from there to the ocean. So they say the solution to pollution is dilution. So as soon as that water hits the ocean, it's diluted so much by a huge thing, the effect is almost nothing. So very detrimental to 2 miles of creek, of hidden creek, but that's it. So the government and everything has just decided, well, it's only 2 miles of creek, so whatever.
Have you run out of mines in the Grand Forks area, or are there mines you still haven't been to that you would like to explore?
Well, it's kind of funny because yesterday we just explored a couple of mines I hadn't been to, but they're very small mines. A private landowner said, "Oh yeah, well I've got 3 mines on my property," and kind of a little skeptical. I never heard of them, so we drove up there and they went in, 20 or 30 feet, right? So
Have you been to the Ice Palace lately?
we haven't been lately, no. There are still some mines in Grand Forks we need to get to, some smaller ones, but typically we don't get too excited about smaller mines. I've been in many small mines that I never published any of it. They're just boring. There's no reason to show you guys a mine that goes in 50 feet or something. It's just really just a prospect. So we just don't show you the boring stuff. Why don't you take samples? What am I going to do with the sample? Okay, say we were in a mine or something, we saw some ore that was really rich, and it had some silver, gold in it. We got an assay. Well, first of all, we wouldn't own the mineral rights to it anyhow, because most people have the claims or whatever. So most of the old mines and stuff, somebody owns the claim. Doesn't keep us from going in there. They don't own the rights to it. But anyways, okay. So just for the sake of argument's sake, went into a mine. It was about a mine. Nobody owned the mineral claim. And we found some rich silver ore, and we had it assayed, and it was really rich. Well, what would we do with it then? Back in the old days, these little miners, they'd go in there, take that ore out there, haul to the local smelter. They would smelt it out, give them the silver. Those days are gone. There's no smelters left. The only smelter left in BC is the smelter and Trail. They don't do any custom smelting at all. They won't do any custom smelting. The only thing you do with that ore is get probably at least 10,000 tons together, ship it offshore to a smelter. Well, first of all, you have to build a mill to concentrate it and concentrate the smelter. So what if there was a bunch of silver ore in there? It wouldn't be worth nothing. There's nothing you can do with it. Those days are completely gone, and it's just false to think that you can make any money off of it or do anything with it.
Yellow Creek Mine in Port Alberni?
Yes, that was one that we went into.
Okay. Are there any museum quality artifacts that you have seen in any of the deep mines you've been to that you are planning to go back and extract?
That is a good question. Yeah. Not that I can think of over on the top of my head. I can't think of any that we wanted to go into. There is an interesting story that I'll share with you guys. There was an episode that we did, and I don't know which one it was. And there was an old hit and miss motor in the mine. We went in there, and it was a fair ways in, and somebody watched that video, and then they went in there and got this old hit and miss motor, and they took it apart. They completely dismantled it and got this thing running and restored the thing. And I think, how awesome is that? I mean, that thing would have just would have rusted there, would have filled in. But no, I can't think of. Well, from Antioch, we wanted to get the mold for the copper, for the blister copper, but we just haven't got the logistics. I can't think of this. So our next big project is to get we've got some more stuff we're going to get from the smelter in Grand Forks. They're going to give us the cart or the train. It's all demolished. We've got to fix that up. Where they poured the molds in there, they're going to give us that and the spout for this converter that we got. And the next big project is the tram. So we got to look around in this area. There's all kinds of trams that are all collapsed, and we got to dig through them and find one we can get at, and all the brakes and the whole operating system of the tram. So we're going to build this operating tram and set up in our museum. But that's the next thing that we have planned. Nothing else. Do you know of any mining museums in the Yukon, or are they next to impossible to build because of their laws or artifact? The thing is, in the Yukon, there's very few people that live in the Yukon. So Whitehorse, I think half the population lives in the one city, and there's only a couple other little cities. So even Dawson City is a really cool place to visit. It's all it's paved roads going up there, but it's all dirt in town and boardwalks. Lots of really cool historic buildings. The government has rebuilt a dredge there. It's a really cool tour to go on. And there's a tremendous opportunity. So many artifacts and all that kind of stuff. have a museum or something to explore, so tourists can see more of this kind of stuff, but it's just not there. Just as many museums in the Yukon, there's very few people there. Canadians are not that interested in the mining history, sad to say. Americans, far more, you'll see way more interesting artifacts and displays in Americans and people that have restored stuff. I'm proud of their efforts, but we don't see it in Canada.
Do you own any mining claims?
I do not. No, I've never owned any mining claims. I did get a free miner's license once, but the reason was because legally it gives you the right actually to go on any private property and search for minerals if you give notice on the landowner. So we had this little thing about trespass and all that kind of stuff, and there was a company called Margo Resources. They're gone now. That had the Jersey Emerald. They're just real nasty. They threatened me some stuff, charged with trespass, and I beat the trespassing thing. But whatever, it was going back and forth. So I read the Mining Act, and if I was a free miner, I would just give them a notice, and they couldn't prevent me from going on there and checking out the mines. So we did that. But they're gone now, so yeah.
It says, as close as you are, Alaska must be on your list of places to visit, and that's where we wanted to go, but
we did want to go to Alaska, so we went to Stewart. So I don't know that many people watch that video, but when we went to the Port Rideau, we rented a chopper and went up in that really cool mine. It's right on the Alaska-BC border, and there was a whole bunch of really cool mines up in that area, but we didn't get into there because the border was closed. So, well, technically, there's nothing really at the border. We could have drove in Alaska even and said we're not allowed to, but we'd had license for 14 days to get back into Canada, so which wasn't really too appealing. And we got a lot of shit too, so. Ever been to Kennecott? No, haven't been to Kennecott. I don't think there's anything you really get into there because it's a park.
It says, when travel resumes across borders, can you summarize the way someone would plan out and travel to the closest city to you and come to the museum? Depends where you're from, I guess.
Well, if you go on any of our videos, you look on the links in there, and there's a link to our museum. So you go on there and you're on Google Maps. So wherever you live in, you can just, it's like everywhere else. You can see we're only half a mile from the United States, so we're just north of Washington. So pretty easy to figure out your way there. And if you're coming up here and you want to see some cool mines in Canada, the Phoenix complex is huge. There's 10 miles of stuff there. There's all kinds of stuff. You can go up there and a lot of stuff on the surface you can see, big holes and cool underground stuff. Fairly safe mine. You can check that out too.
I don't know. I do not remember what mine that was where the guy got that artifact
and got it running again. I don't remember. Sure. I don't remember which one. It was quite a while ago. It was possibly maybe the Reno or one of those mines up there. I'm not sure which one it was. It's actually surprising. You see stuff and it looks all rusty. You think you never get it going again. But stuff like our mucker and all that kind of stuff, the rust is on the surface, and it's still all sound underneath. It's actually amazing. It looks like it's just junk that can never run again. But
this guy says they're barring mines down here in Arizona at an alarming rate.
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't understand it. You think the government have better things to do with their money? I don't know of one case that anyone's ever been injured or killed in exploring abandoned mines in British Columbia ever, and we have like thousands of mines here. So for them to spend tax dollars to fill holes in, and the only thing that's really saving our mines here is because there's a bunch of other regulations about habitat for wildlife. So there's lots of bats and stuff live in mines, so they can't just fill a mine. If there's bats in a mine, they just can't fill it up because you're killing all the bats in it, and there's habitat for that. But I mean, as far as spending money responsibly, I don't know, it's just ludicrous actually to destroy abandoned mines to keep the public safe. But it's because these organizations get grants from the government, and they hire all their buddies. A little society gets formed. They hire all their buddies. Everyone gets a big piece of the pie, and basically just stealing from the taxpayers on a bunch of bullshit, really. BLM and Forest Service, yeah.
Mm.
And there's not really that many people that go into, I think a mines is like a dog or something. I mean, there's dangerous dogs, but I wouldn't say all dogs are dangerous. I mean, um, it's if you walk along there, and people say, well, there's a shaft or something. Well, they should cover that or put a hole or something like that. Well, the problem is if you cover that and the cover fails, you step on it and then it's a bigger hazard. If there's just a hole somewhere with a bit of a fence around it, it's marked or something like that, you can see the hole. Why would you ever end up in that hole? It's just not any different than a cliff. You go for hiking something, there's a cliff. There isn't a fence around every cliff to keep people off the cliff. I mean, you could fall off a cliff just as easy as you could fall off into a mine shaft. So, the exceptions being that sometimes it's in some areas where your ATV, we got an ATV or something like that, and there's a bunch of hills and people are on their ATV or something like that, unexpectedly hit a hole and go into it. So they should be marked off, but I don't see any real reason for sealing them. Enjoyed Phoenix when I was there last year.
He's asking, ever do Barkerville?
Yeah, we did a whole bunch of Barkerville is really cool. So Barkerville is a ghost town that the government of British Columbia took over a long time ago, and it's probably about 100 buildings are resurrected, and they got some really cool stuff there. We did a bunch of videos on it. The thing called a Cornish wheel, which is a huge water wheel, and they use the power from that water wheel to run a winch and stuff to get to pump water and to run a skip up and down a hoist up and down a shaft and some other stuff. They did a really nice job, actually. So yeah, I kind of trash, Canadians and stuff. They don't spend any money on history and all that kind of stuff. But Barkerville is maybe a bit of an exception. Lots of tourists go up there. It's very worthwhile to get up there and have a look at Barkerville. I think it was really interesting. And mostly a placer mining area, similar to Dawson. And we were up in the Caribou Hudson that Sharon and I went into, and it just went down about 600 feet. It was really wet and got to the bottom. There was some really cool stuff in there. Found some cool ore buckets. It was really interesting video and a mine to explore also. How far from Pennsylvania do you where your museum is, brother? Where's Pennsylvania? I don't know. If you know where we're right on the Washington border. So go to Washington. I take it Pennsylvania as far as east you can go in America. Long ways, I would say.
Definitely east.
I think. I've only ever been to in the States. I was only ever in the States once in my life. I went to so last fall I went down through Washington, Idaho, Utah, and to Arizona. I went through California, come back up. That's all I've seen in the States. So I'm not I haven't traveled around the States. Another YouTuber does mining. His name is Ask Jeff Williams. His name is Ask Jeff Williams. Is his mine being closed down? Jeff's a real cool guy, and I'll tell you, he knows very knowledgeable about geology and mining, stuff like that. He's an entertaining guy. I mean, if I've never seen any of the stuff, it's kind of cool. And he comes and comments on my stuff. I like the guy. But we're doing kind of two different things. He's doing some mining and stuff, and he's into drama. But he's an entertaining guy or whatever. So I don't know what he's doing with his mines. I watch some of the stuff the other time. Too far to send a cheesesteak. Yeah. Worm people are taking Jeff to court. Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't believe too much of what Jeff says. He's kind of a bit of a bullshitter. Hey, Jeff. But you guys are most of you guys watch this stuff for entertainment. So Jeff's a good source of entertainment. Kennecott was an amazing feat of civil engineering for the era. 196 miles from ice to tidewater, supplied most of World War II with copper.
Where's that?
It's in Alaska. Yeah, it was a
Oh.
huge copper mine. So the most of the mines that like Antioch and this one were more World War One era copper. So in case you guys don't know, so why they use so much copper during the war is that's how they make brass. So you mix copper with zinc, and that's how brass is made. So all the shell casings and stuff for bullets and the big guns are made from they use a lot of copper to make that. Jeff's energy is too much for me. Yeah, Jeff's an overactor.
2,346 miles from Pittsburgh to Grand Forks.
Oh, there you go, eh? Yeah. Well, a plane flies at 500 miles an hour, so it's 5 miles or 5 hours, right? That's about as far as it is from here to Mexico, and I go to Mexico. So what's your excuse? Probably prospecting for gold, placer mining, and this kind of stuff is it's kind of like fishing or something. I don't think nobody really goes fishing to save money on groceries or anything like that. It's mostly about getting out in the fresh air and enjoying the beer. and that. So it's something that you can do that's kind of an enjoyable hobby or something. It's probably not something that many people are ever going to make any money out of. But there you go. I mean, you got to have something to do with your life, right?
Goldstream Mining says, got another mine to show you at Barkerville.
Who?
Goldstream Mining.
Yeah, that's Mark, I guess. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Sorry, I deleted your one of your posts the other day. I didn't realize it was you. The problem is with our Facebook thing is you got so much commercial stuff on there, people selling stuff, and they just go delete. Oh, that was Mark. He was selling T-shirts. I was a cool guy. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be going back, Barkerville. We didn't spend much time there. Sharon wanted to go to the town, but the problem is, you couldn't do the tour there because of COVID. You had to book an appointment, and we wanted to get up and see Kevin. And we had we had something else to do. We were going to Stewart. We had a helicopter rented, and
Plus, it was pouring rain when we were there.
Yeah,
it was
yeah. So, TVR exploring. Have you watched those videos? I used to, not really. I don't know. Yeah, like you say, everyone's got their own style, right? Pennsylvania, the capital of Pennsylvania. Okay, so any new items added to your museum? Yeah. So we got something called a converter. So that's a great big thing. It's about 10 tons, and you pour molten copper, blister copper in there, which is 80% copper, and it puts a bunch of bubbles in there, and it blows up all the slag, and then you pour mold. Oh, I said the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Okay, start off the mat, and you end up with blister copper. It's 93 point, and it's really cool. It's something that was built by Alice Chalmers. So we just found out the other day, Alice Chalmers was a merger of two other companies. The video we just did of the Venus mine, there was a rock crusher called a Gates. So the Gates company did mining company. They merged with another guy that, not Alice Chalmers, another Chalmers, and that's when Alice Chalmers was born in 1902. So kind of interesting. This was made back in 1902. So. Okay, Eptic Mining Stream.
Alice Deutz, Alia, and then Alice Chalmers.
Yeah, Alice Deutz. I thought Deutz was after that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting history about the thing, but I didn't know. I knew Alice Chalmers made cats and stuff. I didn't know they were the largest supplier of mining equipment back then, and they're broke now, so they're gone. So,
best time to check out the museum.
just give me a call for a round. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we don't plan things ahead of time too much. You can find our phone number somewhere on the site or whatever. You can look on there or send me an email. I don't have any particular time. Deutz made a tractor, an air-cooled tractor, a long time ago. I always thought it was a Deutsch was a German company, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, well, these companies seem to have trouble making money for a long period of time. Jeff Williams is an interesting geologist, does stuff with the gold. I like his skeleton, yeah. Slim, his name's Slim. I enjoy watching pioneer Paul Lays. He works to get gold he can, a gram or two at the most, but mostly finding anything. So, and a lot of places. I grew up. There's a place called Tronquil Creek up by Kamloops there. When I grew up there, I built a cabin in the bush. I lived in the bush there, and I did gold panning and stuff. And it's easy to get excited about these little flakes, but it would take thousands of these flakes to make an ounce of gold. Uh-oh. The phone's ringing.
Yes or no?
No, who is it? I can answer. I'm busy doing a live stream.
Well, shut it off.
Oh, it's my sister. I'll phone her later. All right. Yeah.
Where's Tranquil Creek?
Tranquil
That's
Creek
what you just said.
Tronquil Creek is just out of Kamloops. But that was one of the very first creeks that ever worked for gold. The Chinese mined it very extensively. So. Damn phone's in. Yeah, that was one of the first mines that they one of the first places ever mined placer gold back in the 1800s. They come up the Fraser Valley and they mined up there. And like I said, the Chinese were there. It's kind of cool. You look at a lot of the excavations. You have huge boulders and stuff. They moved a huge amount of boulders and stuff to get at the gold, and there's quite a bit of gold in there. But you can still pan up there and get a few flakes here and there. But getting rich on the phone ain't gonna happen. Let's all phone Frank now. Ain't gonna happen because I left it open. You'll get a busy signal. Dan Hurd is working spot there. Yeah. We have a claim just south of Dan Hurd's claim. You guys never going to make any money there. Them Chinese, they work way harder and way smarter than you guys are.
Have you ever thought of buying a mine or ghost town and restore it?
No, not really. I mean, we got enough. We're busy enough doing museum and doing all the exploring. We just don't have any extra time, and we can only do so many things in a lifetime. So you can do a whole bunch of things. I guess you can do a few things well, or a whole bunch of things half-ass, I guess. And we like to kind of concentrate on doing the few things that we do well. Yeah, you've taken your side-by-side way off the road. If any issues with flat tires that cause major problems, well, actually, the side-by-side, you can run. The one time in a quad, we went about 10 miles up the railway tracks to find a crashed plane. And it got a flat tire just after we left, and we went the whole ways on a flat tire up there and back. It really doesn't bother them much because there's very little weight on the. You can't drive a pickup on a flat tire very far because there's a lot of weight on it. But the quads, they have like very little weight on there. It makes them a little hard to steer, but it doesn't even hurt the tire. So if you get a flat tire, it's not something you need to be all that excited about. If you carry a can of that flat repair stuff, it's got some sealant in it, you can fill it back up. But if you don't have that, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal.
It says, absolutely, we won't make any money, but it's the adventure that we crave.
Oh, well, that's, if that's your objective, you'll do well. Actually, so if you know that creek very well, if you go up to where Watching Creek comes into Tronquil Creek, I had my cabin just below that. Someone burned it down. There's nothing left of it. But probably less than a half mile downstream from where Watching Creek goes into there. And when I was panning for gold, it goes down and there's kind of a little bit of a waterfall. And there's a big pool where the water just barely scoops off there. I would think that would be the most awesome place. And I always dreamed if I had a dredge, I'd go in there and suck it all up. It's not illegal there. You can't do it. But for sniping gold or something, you would think that the gold, because the gold did come from further up by Watching Creek, it would be in there and that would be a trap for gold. That'd be my tip to you if it's worth anything to you.
Have you seen a miner's cat?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, we saw, you ever see a miner's cat, Sharon? You might have saw a dead one.
On your video.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a skeleton.
Yeah, in Arizona there's ones there.
Skeleton.
So. Yeah. No, we haven't seen any. We had to keep stopping our side by side to pick up pretty rocks. We only have so much room in the museum for pretty rocks, so we really need to upgrade. So if we look at a rock, it's prettier than the stuff that we'd have to throw out of the museum. So we're getting really fussy on pretty rocks. Open hotel where you have to take an elevator to the 900 level to your room. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, a lot of the gold on Tramway comes from watching up the canyon and blind spots. So that's the Chinese miner's mine near the bottom. That's very little left there. Yeah. Yeah, so it's about 6 months behind, but I have all the skulls being found. Actually, it's about a month, probably more than that. It's probably a year and a half at least. I'm sure they have been. But you can go look for them. And it's the same thing as gold mining or something. It wasn't the idea of sticking all that money out there, the $50 bills, wasn't so much that people will get rich of it. They would just have, it was just a cool way of people exploring the area and getting to see that. So that was the reason behind that. So. What's your favorite piece in the museum? What do you think it is, Shane?
Your favorite piece?
Yeah.
Your mucker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
You love to run
that's a
it.
good answer. And that mucker, so we have it working now, so it goes back and forth and loads ore too. And it's just a brutal machine. I mean, you got the air on there. We got a big air compressor. We got a 25 horsepower air compressor, and that mucker, I guess fast. You would not believe how brutal that machine is. You go up there, you put it on there, it goes, and you got to watch it. I mean, it'll rip anything off of there. And it really gives you, you know, if you've never seen a mine operating or anything like it, you see the machinery, you don't realize how loud, how brutal, and how fast, and how much that stuff will do it. You know, and the drills and all that. It's pretty cool to see that. And people see that they're just amazed. They go, holy Christ, you know, they think, oh, some old air part, they go, blah, 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 blah. It's not, it goes, it's just crazy. You ever found fresh dynamite or is old dynamite? Well, we haven't been in, no, I've never found any real fresh. I don't know what fresh dynamite is. We used to be able to just buy dynamite. Yeah, it was legal before 9/11. 9/11 screwed up everything. You just go down to the hardware store and buy it. If you had a ranch, you want to blow some stumps, whatever, there's no problem. And we just keep it in our freezer to keep it fresh all the time, keep it from oxidizing. We had lots of fun with it, but you can't buy it anymore. Now you need to have a blasting ticket and blah, blah, blah. So.
Ever add your name to the old graffiti in a mine?
Yeah, we did one time because we brought a carbide lamp into the HB or the Remac, one of the Remac, I guess, and we had it working and stuff. And we just wanted to see how the writing was and all that. So we did a little video of carbide. We just put exploring bad mines on the
Says
wall.
your 100,000 subs award looks good on the mantle.
Well, thanks. Yeah, right there.
See, that was
You
a
know-
good place for it.
Everyone said, you know, after you get to 100,000 subs, everything's going to change. All that, nah, nothing really changes. It's all the same. So we heard that, but it didn't happen. So the horizontal air drill was awesome as well. We actually have quite a few drills. So there was an old miner that died, and we kind of inherited all this stuff. We bought it off his estate, so we got quite a few operating drills and lots of drills and all kinds of other stuff. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom again.
No.
Time to go to work.
I should have said first. No, too close, too close. Might have to say it's just over. Yes, he's got to pee. Yeah, everyone else can go for a pee break and a beer break. Arc'teryx gear. I don't think I have any. I do have. No, I don't have any Arc'teryx. No, we don't carry firearms with us when we go anywhere. I said everyone else could go for a pee break and a beer break also, so it was commercial break. It was
Commercial
all,
break, yeah.
It was all good.
Well, that's another thing. So people complain about the commercials on our channel. Well, first of all, we don't control that. And it's weird. Sometimes you watch it, you'll be a commercial every, I don't know, few seconds, whatever. Sometimes you don't see them at all. So, but we don't control any of that. We just enable commercials on our YouTube channel. But, we're grateful. It does pay for all the bills and all that kind of stuff. But some of them are skippable. And the other thing is that if you watch TV, there's commercials. Nobody bitches about them. So I don't know. You're kind of stuck with them. If you don't like commercials, don't be so cheap. Get YouTube Red or whatever it costs you. I don't know, $12 a month. You don't have to watch any commercials. So. That was quick. At least I wasn't playing with it. It's not my job.
A few people asked if you washed your hands, which I was laughing at.
Well, I never used to wash my hands, but now if I do number 2, kind of got this new tradition. I do that. But number 1, water's too precious.
Somebody keeps asking about guns. I said we don't carry any, and then is it legal to carry a firearm into a mine?
Well, so in Canada, you really can't. You can buy pistols, but you got to have a permit. There's a whole bunch of bullshit you got to go through. You should be able to stick a little gun in your pocket or something like that. But here, if you have a handgun, you can't do nothing with it except for take it to a licensed firing range, and you need a permit for it. It's a bunch of bullshit. There's no point in having it. You can't do nothing with it anyhow. So have bigger guns. They get shotguns and stuff like that. But they're just large and bulky. And what would you need a gun in the mine for anyhow? I know much Americans says, well, you need a gun in the backcountry to protect you from the crazy people. Well, the crazy people around here don't have guns, so you don't need a gun to protect yourself from the crazy people. So I don't know. We haven't run into any crazy people in the States either. And a lot of people in Canada, they say, oh, Canadians are really nice and all that. We were in America and spent 5 months there. People were really nice there. We didn't see any difference. We personally, I think there's probably a big difference between people that live in big cities or something a little paranoid and they're worried about crime and all that. And we got the same thing in Canada. You go to a big city and everyone's worried about crime and all that. But, like the people in the back country just kind of common ham and eggers, whatever. They're very friendly. We never had any problems. And they seemed exactly the same to me. So when you guys all say, Canadians are nice and friendly, I thought Americans were friendly too. We had no problems. We never had no problems. And so what? If we're under one household, big deal. We got households here too. So.
Somebody says there might be popcorn later. Yes.
She likes popcorn. Sharon would eat popcorn more than doing it at night. Bigger difference between East and West. Well, just generally speaking with cities and stuff, the more people you live in a small area, they step on each other's toes and they tend to annoy each other, I guess. And, it's more conflict. When I lived in a ranch and I didn't have a neighbor who was 7 miles away, I could shoot a moose out of my front yard anytime I wanted or whatever. Nobody gives a shit what you do. And you can have fires and do whatever I wanted. It's just the more concentrated the population is, the more whatever you're doing is pissing somebody off. So then it causes more problems, I guess.
You watched an Aussie movie called Descent?
Oh, yeah, I watched it one time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Bruce,
somebody said they don't tease you enough on here, and I agree.
Bruce, she gave me $10. So no, thanks. I appreciate the contribution. No, I don't mind.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That guy's teasing me. Merry Christmas. No,
whatever.
No, thanks.
You're just pretending to be
I'm not a big Christmas guy, see?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, Merry whatever, right?
Because I bought him the shirt.
Yeah.
But he put up.
She said I wouldn't wear it, but she was wrong. She had to admit she was wrong.
I bought it to tease him.
No, I think it was funny.
And he put up Christmas lights, and we went and cut down a tree and put it up and decorated it. So he's
anything to keep my honey out. Yeah, I'm not really much of a Christmas guy, but mountain lions and wild pigs don't care if you're nice. Yeah, we never run into that, but yeah, probably a problem in Gly's running into that a little bit. There's lots of the pigs and stuff there in the mines, and those they call them javelinas, I guess, wild pigs, and yeah, they could be nasty, I guess. It's not. There's nothing we need to shoot in a mine here. So.
that says Guy's finally using some ropes.
I do keep a firearm in the truck. Well, I got bit and attacked by a bear one time, and I don't carry a gun when I walk in the bush, and I ain't worried about it. So I don't know. It's one of them things maybe gonna happen once in a while. I don't know. Most bears, you see them, they run like crazy. But the bear that come after me was caught in a national park, and they caught and released him close to my ranch, and they had problems with him, and then they exported the problem to me. So yeah, normally bears are scared of people, but if they've had problems with them in parks and stuff, and they got used to eating garbage and people feed them and stuff, then they can get aggressive and just not scared of people, which is bad for the bears and bad for the people. Are you planning on exploring mines in Quebec? No, I'm not. And I doubt if I would ever go back to explore any mines. Just not many. Is too far away. There's a lot more easier places that have more interesting mines closer by. So I'm lazy. I try to do things easy as possible.
Remy Max says greetings.
Remy Max is one of your favorite subscribers, right? He always says something nice.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy, right? What does he say all the time?
Always good things.
Yeah. Oh. More for us then. I was dragged out of my tent. I remember when YouTube never used to have commercials. That's because they were trying to suck all you guys in. I mean, yeah, there wasn't any commercials, and that's the way they built their brand up. People started watching it, and Facebook doesn't have any commercials now either, right? So, how's Gabe doing? You have any plans to do more exploring with him once the pandemic is over? We haven't made any plans, but we've done some of our most popular shows are with Gabe. He was the guy that went down the mine shaft in Mexico down 550 feet, and then he happened to be with me in Calcedome and stuff. So he's I like doing stuff with him because the way I met him was before I went to Mexico, I Googled exploring the abandoned mines in Mexico, and his video come up, and he did a little video of he was going to some girls trying to find some gold. He didn't know nothing about mines or gold or anything like that, but he was in abandoned stuff, and he's really good character in front of the camera, so he's pretty entertaining and stuff. And reached out to him, and we did that. So he's an interesting guy artistically to do stuff with, and got more balls and brains. I don't know. He's kind of fun guy to hang out with and do stuff with. Yeah, we wouldn't mind hanging out with him some more, and we enjoyed working with him in the past. Well, for the commercials, YouTube there's a skip button if they have it. So we're running these other commercials. They're non-skippable, but they're usually just really short anyhow, so it's just easy just to watch the damn things. And we never used to run non-skippable ads, but we're making a hell of a lot more money now that we have them. So I guess, so we do the work, we find the mines, we do all the producing, the guys are going to have to pay for it one way or the other. I guess either get YouTube Red or watch free commercials. That's it, bottom line, I guess. I have a Chrome extension that blocks all the ads. I don't know. Do whatever you like. I mean, we're happy with the arrangement we have with them. I don't know how that all works. No one has bigger balls than Frank. We haven't actually put that theory to the test. It's like being the best man at the wedding. How would you know? I'd rather pay a sub for it. Well, like I say, if you get YouTube Red, the way YouTube Red works is you don't watch any of the commercials, and then we get a cut of the YouTube Red. So it doesn't matter to us. So if you don't like commercials, pay for YouTube Red. I don't know. Yeah. YouTube Premium, YouTube Red, same thing, yeah. Well, if you don't want to pay YouTube, watch commercials, one or the other. Yeah. I want to pay you, well, there you go, you can do that too, but you still have to watch commercials.
Do you guys have Patreon?
We do, yeah. If you look at any of our videos, there's a bunch of links on there. There's a Patreon link or something. You can give me some money if you want. Or you can just do it. There's a link on this thing. You can donate. A bunch of people have actually tonight. They give us a bunch of money. So there's I don't know. If you look around, there's a dollar sign or something. I don't know, there's something there. You can figure it out. I'm sure you're smarter than I am. I never paid anyone on YouTube.
Robert says it must be getting a spot bit cool up your way as we are now getting into summer down here.
Yeah, we had, it was snowing on our way back from our trip today. So we don't get, we're in the most southern part of Canada, so we don't get a lot of winter here. If you're closer to the ocean, they hardly get any snow. We get a little bit of snow here. Up in the mountains where the mines are, they get quite a lot more snow. So we'll have the sled out, the snowmobile out here pretty quick. The sled, that's what they call it in Canada, the sled. It's not a snowmobile, it's a sled. All right. I'm thinking, so we've been on here for like 2.5 hours and we got lots of guys watch us. And I really appreciate it. We should probably have some supper at some point. From both of us, we'd just like to wish you guys Merry Christmas. And we're happy you could join us. And if you're bored, check out our
Paste it.
Okay, so if you guys get bored, you got a little bit of time, and you're interested, check out our new merch site that Sharon set up. We've got some cool stuff. Well, thanks for the contribution there, Jason. So you guys have a really Merry Christmas, and we're going to continue bringing you guys more Exploring Mind videos. In a couple weeks, we'll do an update of our museum. It should be really cool. I think you guys will enjoy it. We've got lots of cool stuff to show you. And if there's any way you guys come by for a visit, we'd love to meet you in person and show you guys our museum. We're very passionate about history and trying to preserve it. And so if we don't talk to you guys in the new year, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year from Frank and Sharon.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.